Hello, my little TV children. Do you guys like that name? Since I was a TV child, and I feel like a lot of you guys were also TV children, it's just the most fitting. I mean, anything with my name may be a little bit too self-centered, but that's what we're going to be calling ourselves from now on. Yes, this is what I've been talking about when I said my other things. Am I dragging it? Perhaps. Perhaps. If you ask anybody besides us BGC girlies, they would say yes, but truly, I think if you're one of us, there's just always something new to talk about on this show. If you're new here, welcome. You are a TV child now. But I did in fact watch every single Bad Girls Club season on my channel, literally seasons 1 through 17. And I also added some of the full reactions on my Patreon. And yes, I'm working on adding some currently. The goal is to add every single episode. Since that is the ultimate goal, when I watch these, I don't pause. So because of that, there may be moments in the episodes that I didn't get to talk about as much as I really wanted to. I also do recaps on other shows, for example, Scooby-Doo, The Challenge, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. I know, The Range. So we're doing the same thing with Bad Girls Club and another show coming very soon, mostly because it would be a struggle to actually do any type of reaction videos. So I figured with that show, we'll do something similar to this. And I'll see if maybe I can sink in some reaction videos maybe on Patreon. We'll see though, but you won't have to wait too long, I promise. Before we restart this journey yet again, there's something I would like to reiterate, something that I felt since the very first episode of Bad Girls Club on this channel. Everything is alleged. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it is, but that's not the main point. I understand that while watching the show, there are many things that are influencing the way that it's portrayed. These shows get edited the same way that many fictional shows that we watch get edited, in layman's terms. Production. When discussing these shows, everything is from that viewpoint. I don't know these people personally. I don't ever want people to think that I'm coming at them personally. Production loves a good storyline, even if it has to be spliced word by word. So of course, while watching, I'm going to be taking that into account, and also any other details that I may have gotten from social media, blog posts, post-show interviews. There's just so many things out there that kind of tell certain aspects of the show a little bit differently. I wish I could take the show as it is, but I feel like if I did, I would just miss so many details. But with that being said, I don't know every single detail, so I may miss some things, but I do want to keep that in mind while I'm watching. Something else I would love to not spread is hate. So please, I ask you once again to not contact these people. It's okay to not like them because of their actions in the show, but I think reaching out to them to tell them that is just a line that I really don't like to cross, and I would appreciate it if nobody here crosses that either. Let's start from the beginning yet again. The year is 2006. Reality TV is poppin', and a new concept is about to hit our TVs. What if instead of casting a bunch of people with different characteristics, personalities, etc., we cast all young women with the same exact one, the bad girl? Thankfully for us, we get to spend the next 11 years figuring out what happens. We are introduced to this concept at the start of the season. Why are bad girls bad? Is their outrageous behavior hiding something deeper? Will they change given the opportunity? To find out, 7 bad girls move in together. So the first season, the concept of the show is to change. So yes, narrator, let's find out if they do in fact change. There's a cold open that is very common and important to each season. It not only sets the tone for the entire season, but it also displays what they thought was the craziest fight. Every season, fans will look out and see which cast member made the cut, because if you did, you were kind of either known as the baddest or the worst. Not really any in between. This season is none other than the Ripsy blowout. We do not know her just yet. The intro plays next, and this stays pretty consistent throughout each season, except for some minor cuts to the animation, different songs. The one that I personally associate with is much later down the road, 3 days earlier. That whole fight that we just watched escalated to that point in the span of 3 days. And that's actually not the worst, surprisingly. The first girl we meet is Zara, and she is from upstate New York. I too am from New York, but upstate New York is very different. She's a small town girl, and she admits that she does in fact search for trouble. We will see this to be true throughout the entire season. Next bad girl we meet is Leslie. She also gets into trouble, and she is a self-proclaimed tomboy. The next bad girl we meet is Ripsy from Massachusetts. She's a spoiled rich girl, and she immediately asks for a maid because she doesn't do manual labor, meaning taking up her suitcase and doing laundry. And she packed a lot, which is funny given what happens. Zara and Leslie decide to be roommates, even though Zara is really messy and Leslie is a neat freak. But Leslie wants a non-judgmental roommate, which Zara claims to be. And this is when Leslie tells us that she is a stripper. And now we get her title card, and she's from Atlanta. She makes money. She makes $2K from about 3 or 4 songs. And Zara loves a good strip club. Ripsy's taken a little aback, but since everyone always judges her, she refuses to judge Leslie for it. The next bad girl we meet is Carrie, and she is 31. And this is the only time they cast someone in their 30s. I think they realize that it's much easier to make a dramatic television show with younger women who are still finding themselves and more prone to mistakes. Carrie and Ripsy decide to room together. The other roommates ask her what makes her a bad girl. According to her, she is controlling and manipulative. They call her the bad girl of country music. So yeah, she's a singer, but she's more known for her antics as opposed to her music. Next, we meet Amy from South Philly. People are out to get her, especially girls. Okay, she says she's been kicked out of schools for fighting, including cosmetology, which even though she took it in high school, isn't free, so what a complete waste. But she's also lost jobs for fighting, so... Her boyfriend calls her spiteful. Let's hold on to that. Zara is not trying to show her around, so it doesn't seem like they're going to be getting along. Next, we meet Jody from Baltimore. So weird that some girls got cities and then some girls got their entire state. Jody wants to get out of corporate America, and she is 29, so the second oldest. Super fun, cool fact, I too am 29. I don't know how much money it would take for me to go on the Bad Girls Club at this age, but it will have to be 7 figures. Obviously, first season, they have no idea what this is. I just can't imagine her being like on season 11. But she's an aspiring model, and Zara says that she thought she was a drag queen until she took off her makeup. Okay, regardless though, she's hanging outside with Jody, and here we find out that Zara has a boyfriend. His name is Jared, and he's 18 years old. She's 22, and she asked him to marry her before she came out here. He said no. They get a voicemail from another roommate, Ty, who says that she will not be joining them just yet because she has to go to court. Amy takes this really personal and makes it a point to tell us that she is not scared.
Who's scared?
Okay, they go in a circle and talk about how girls don't like them, all of their friends are guys, and how they stay fighting. Oh, hello? But more importantly, why they're here. Zara is a small town girl and wants to see if she can make it in a big city. Ripsy has lived a sheltered life and she wants to be more independent. Leslie wants to change the way her life is going. Amy wants to make more girlfriends. Carrie opens up about being in a magazine in a bathing suit and losing her record deals. That's why she's here. She wants to try to revitalize that career. Jody grew up poor, moved around a lot, and has a hard time making girlfriends. But they all agreed to be in this together. Okay, Ripsy and Jody go out, they meet some bikers, they get serious, the police are called. Meanwhile, Ty gets to the house and the first person she meets is Amy, who in her interview says that she expected someone a little bit more intimidating and tells Ty that she thought she would kill him. Ty is from Atlanta. She's been in and out of the system. She's had to take care of herself most of her life and she just wants a fresh start. When Ripsy and Jody get home, Zara tells them that the new roommate came and she's a, quote,
big black girl.
All right, Jody meets her and she's super nice to her, but Ty doesn't want to go out with them that night because she is tired. Amy is excited to go out because she gets to see how the other girls act. However, if they start taking off their clothes, it's simply not going to fly with Amy. Amy tries to seem unbothered by everything and like she doesn't care about anything, but I would argue that she cares and that she cares way too much and about things that she shouldn't care about. The first night out is always an eventful one. Amy's dancing kills me. And then there's just Leslie. Zara and Ripsy are outside being haggled by some men in blurry faces. The rest of the girls are inside and Amy makes it a point to make fun of Jody's dancing. She's making a kissy face and this simply just does not fly with Amy. In fact, don't even stand next to her if you're gonna dance like this. Only if you dance like this. Amy also says that Jody is posing for cameras that aren't even there, which is hilarious because there's at least one camera currently there and filming her. But okay, this is where things take a turn. Jody's dancing with Leslie and there's this guy all up on Jody and Leslie doesn't like this. She tells him to move and shoves his face a little and it pretty much goes downhill from here. He tells her that he's gonna call another, quote, to come over and beat her up. Leslie says that where she comes from, if one fights, they all fight. A very common sentiment throughout all these seasons. An employee, I don't know if a bouncer, bartender, owner, who cares, goes up to her and tells her to stop starting shit. And it kind of cuts around a little, but the next thing we see is him grabbing her and also her grabbing him, and he's taking her outside. He is so extra with her and is like, be a lady, insinuating that she's not because she's starting stuff. Outside, it turns into a whole thing. The other bouncers are covering the cameras up. You can see some of the crew members trying to diffuse the situation. Jody is just watching, and there's this guy there who's talking about he will kill the guy, whatever. They all get back into the limo and things get even worse. Leslie is upset that Jody didn't have her back, but Jody's like, there was literally nothing I can do. There was like giant security guards around him. I couldn't get in the middle and defend you. Leslie says something to the fact of the one that she was dealing with wasn't that big, so she could have done something. Things get personal, and Jody tells Leslie that she has no class. So in response, Leslie says, you're the one who wants to be a Playboy model, which Jody responds to that and makes fun of her for being a stripper. Leslie makes her way to Jody's seat. She doesn't swing on her or anything like that, but she does get in her face, so they're both kind of holding each other, and all the girls that speak up on it are on Leslie's side. They feel like Jody just disappeared from the situation even though it was about her. I believe that if you are standing up for your friend because you feel like she can't stand up for herself, why would you in turn expect her to stand up for you if she can't even stand up for herself? I don't think there was any ill intentions on Jody's part. It just seems that they handle situations differently. The next day, Ripsy is taking some shots because of a common misconception that if you wake up with a hangover and you drink alcohol, you're no longer hungover. And she read this in the book. Jody is talking to Ty about what happened, and Ty says that Leslie probably just felt humiliated because she was kicked out and Leslie's eavesdropping. Jody's talking to Ripsy about everyone being scared of Leslie. Ripsy immediately tells Amy, and Amy is just not having it.
Whoa, bitch.
She's not scared of anybody. Jody then asks Leslie straight up if she thinks that she overreacted. But this is not the right moment to ask her literally anything. Leslie says that she needs to give her a day or two. And Jody says, shouldn't that be me asking for the day? But I feel like it's whoever needs the day. Amy jumps in and tells Jody that she knows that she said the only reason nobody stood up to Leslie is because they're scared of her. Jody, in fact, confirms this, but uses the word intimidated, and things get serious yet again. Jody asks her why she's even getting involved, and Amy's like, because you said everybody, and it's not true. She likes Leslie, and she doesn't like her. Jody doesn't care. She tells her to calm down because she's only 5 foot. Amy then says, what does that matter? I'll still knock your teeth out. Jody takes her up on that and says, okay, so do it. Amy does not. She doesn't even stand up, actually. Perhaps let's not threaten people, Amy. Jody says that Amy's just jealous of her. If you see my other videos, you know that I feel like this is a common misused excuse. Not everyone is jealous of you. Sometimes you just have a personality and people just don't like you. I don't think Jody does, but I don't think Amy's jealous of her either. During this heated verbal discussion, we see Ripsy getting in the middle of it, so there's no physical altercations. How nice of her. Zara and Ripsy are the only ones who go out that night, and they're forming a friendship. Ripsy refers to herself as the Blackout Queen.
I'm the Blackout Queen.
When they get home, Ripsy is struggling to walk back into the house, and she 100% lost her wallet. Leslie talks to her mom about the whole club situation with Jody, and she tells her that she's no longer going to stand up for anybody except for herself. But Leslie does let the whole situation go, which is super dope of her. Ripsy is hungover yet again, and she does her alcohol hack, except this time she takes 3 shots. She also mentions that she has a temper and yoga helps. We learn this to be untrue later on. Jody does ask her why she's drunk, and she tells her her little theory, but Jody's not buying it because it literally doesn't make any sense. Ripsy says that she drinks because you're in the house, what else are you gonna do? Jody asks her if she wants to go shopping, but Ripsy's just trying to hang out today. Jody says, no, it's because you're drunk, and Ripsy denies these allegations. But she does wish that she was drunk, and someone, either Jody or Carrie, say, what do you mean you had a couple shots? But then Amy and Carrie jump into this passive-aggressive ass conversation. It turns super defensive because Ripsy's like, what is the big deal? Amy says nobody cares to Ripsy, as if Jody was the one who started the conversation, and as if she wasn't there watching everything go down. I feel like if she didn't care, she could have walked away, no? Carrie says in her interview that Ripsy's drinking is what actually made them want to leave the house in the first place. Ripsy and Leslie are having a conversation outside about everyone being worried about the wrong things, and I feel that. I understand maybe saying the shot thing like doesn't work because it's so crazy, but to keep asking her why she's doing it when you already got your answer seems so redundant. But Ripsy considers leaving because she doesn't want to deal with the drama. She just came here to have fun. Jody's on the phone with her friend Beth, and she's telling her how she thought she'd be living with pretty girls who like to have fun and not, quote,
with like white trash.
She didn't sign up for this and she's too mature to be dealing with it. I would love to know what she thought she was signing up for. Miss Beth says something that I think is so funny. What is there to be fighting about after just 3 days? And Miss Beth, you have literally no idea. But Jody feels like she's in prison and yeah, basically. Ripsy and Zara aim to finish this bottle of Jameson tequila. I have no idea. It's dark liquor. I don't mess with dark liquor. They almost finish it, but they're just way too trash to do it. So this is a great time to do yoga. We get some fun foreshadowing.
Ripsy, don't fall in the pool.
Ripsy literally cannot stand up straight. Amy, Carrie, and Leslie go outside to watch this drunk yoga, but unfortunately the show gets dark. Carrie and Amy are joking around with Zara, and Ripsy's like, I'm not even drunk. So they giggle because like, girl. But then Carrie asks, okay, so then what are you? Zara responds, I'm intoxicated. But Carrie was asking Ripsy, so then Ripsy gets up and gets on top of Carrie and is like, yeah, I'm intoxicated. I'm intoxicated. Are you sure? Yeah, she is. Amy tries to relax her a little bit, but Ripsy directs some of the anger towards Amy and is like,
I'll kill you.
Amy surprisingly doesn't tell her that she's not scared of her and just kind of laughs it off. Ripsy goes back to Carrie and just starts talking about like her getting a nose job. Carrie kind of denies it. Just the way she says, because I can tell, is so funny to me.
You know what? Nobody else can tell, 'cause I can tell.
Because she's just so trash. But to be honest, I can also tell. And that's because I too got a nose job and I study noses for a fat minute. Someone says bitch, I don't know who it is, but Ripsy goes straight for Carrie. She starts tussling with her, putting her hands on her neck. Carrie gets away for a little bit, and so Zara and Ripsy have a drunk ass conversation. And Zara tells Ripsy to apologize because she was so rude. Carrie wants to report this immediately. So she goes into the house and Ripsy follows her towards the house. And she keeps trying to start again. So Carrie turns around and just pushes her into the pool. When I first saw this, I could not believe it. I thought this lady was about to drown. But alas, we had a to be continued. Then we get the on this season of Bad Girls Club.
This season on the Bad Girls Club.
Which is a staple for this show because it showed all of the fights, literally all of them, except this season was a little bit different. Started off with the arguments and the fights and then went on to the fun times. This season's closing line is Amy.
God bless you, bitches.
Also, this episode is longer than the others, so they really put their all into this one. Starts with Amy and Zara rescuing Ripsy from drowning. Carrie is upset looking at the scratches and the cuts all over her, and she's crying to Jody. Jody would like to avoid the drama, so she just goes to bed. Now that Ripsy is out of the pool, she runs inside to do, I have no idea, I'm assuming to get Carrie, right? Because like what else? But Carrie's coming down the stairs and Ripsy's going up the stairs. Carrie tells her not to touch her. Ripsy tells her that she doesn't belong here and puts her hand on her shoulder. So Carrie just smacks her as she's walking away, and oh my god, Ripsy turns around and just goes straight for her neck. Literally. She smacks her, puts her in a headlock, pulls her hair. They get separated again and Carrie goes downstairs because she needs to talk to somebody. Ripsy follows her again and starts grabbing at her. Carrie begs for somebody to stop her and Ty is trying her hardest. But y'all know with drunk people, it's like impossible. Carrie tries to defend herself. She's kicking. Ripsy trying to grab at literally anything she can. Pulls off her pants. It takes Amy and Ty holding Ripsy down for Carrie to be able to get away. At this point, she dragged it, so now Ty is literally in the middle to avoid her getting her yet again. Ripsy's eyes have gone dark. There's nobody there anymore. She says that she loves Carrie and she has no idea what is going on. Carrie and Zara are outside and Zara's trying to make her feel better, but she is so drunk. So honestly, it's more annoying than anything. Ripsy passed out on the couch for like a second and then wakes back up to start destruction yet again. She starts trashing the house and oh my gosh, she was a pioneer for trashing the Bad Girls Clubhouse. She ends up in the phone room for a bit, but then gets up and makes her way upstairs. She sees Jody in bed and screams, "You know what the other girls told me? That you don't give a about me," and starts attacking her. Mind you, she was sleeping. Jody does try to get away, but she isn't Carrie, so she pops her a few times. But Ripsy, man, she just doesn't want to let go of that damn hair. Leslie sits back and watches because, as you saw in the last episode, she's no longer helping anyone. Once they get Ripsy off of Jody, they see Jody's eye, and Ty has had enough. She swings her off of the bed and tells her to get the fuck out of her room. And Ripsy's just like, okay. Finally, Ripsy goes to bed. At this point, we finally see a member of production in the background. So far, it's only been the roommates trying to help get Ripsy in bed. Carrie is outside sobbing, and Jody's in the mirror looking at herself, and her eye is so up. The next morning, it hasn't gotten any better, but it hasn't gotten any worse, so that's good. The first eye injury, and surprisingly a very common injury on the show. Amy said that they all agreed on no violence, but she still doesn't want Ripsy to go home because that's her friend. And Jody's in the best spirits that you can be after that. She's cracking jokes, and she's more so worried for Carrie. Zara wakes up Ripsy, who has no idea what happened.
What happened?
Amy lets her know to say goodbye because she's 100% going home. She's in fact quite shocked because she's never done that. She hasn't blacked out in a minute, even though she said that she was the blackout queen.
I'm the blackout queen.
Ty also doesn't want her to leave, but tells her that she needs to talk to Carrie. Ripsy and Amy believe that she did that because she was bottling up her emotions. It seems likely because she attacked the people that she felt picked on by, but I think it's more so because she was drunk and mad. Carrie talks to her boyfriend, and she is traumatized.
She was calling me 30-year-ass-old.
She also feels alone because she thinks that nobody helped her, and I feel like they definitely tried. But either way, her boyfriend is flying out to comfort her. Zara tries to defend Ripsy because she doesn't even know what she did, but Carrie doesn't give a fuck. So far, Ty, Amy, Zara, and Leslie don't want her to go. They want this to be a learning experience for Ripsy. Jody's whatever about it. She just feels worse for Carrie, which is crazy because, yeah, Carrie has scratches on her neck, but Jody's under eye is like missing a chunk. Leslie talks to Carrie and tries to convince her to let Ripsy stay, but it is ultimately her decision because she got attacked. It's made me wonder, what if Jody said that she could stay and Carrie said that she needs to go? I wonder if they would have made a house vote and then let her stay regardless. I feel like they should have done that. They kind of disregarded Jody's entire experience in that. So it's time for a meeting. Ripsy apologizes and says that this is the first time something like this has ever happened, which again is weird because she called herself the blackout queen. Perhaps it was just for cool points. But either way, Carrie calls bullshit because she was bringing up personal stuff like 30-year-old, nose job, things like that. And regardless, she doesn't care because she's scratched up. Amy jumps in and lets her know that she is not intimidated by her.
I'm not threatened by you at all.
But still, she would rather not have her attack her while she's sleeping. Carrie draws a line in the sand and says, either she goes or I go. Dun dun dun. Ripsy starts to get frustrated because she keeps saying that she doesn't remember. She's being super apologetic to Carrie, but with Jody, it's completely different. She's very defensive towards her, and it's because Jody said that perhaps she should go see somebody about her issues. Ripsy tells her to shut up or she'll gladly throw down again.
I will throw a fist again, so you better shut up.
So yeah, she doesn't really care about what she did to Jody at all. Ripsy tells Carrie that if she really wants her to go, she will go. So Carrie says, you can go. And Ripsy has to go. Zara is not happy and she feels like if Carrie's that scared, then she should just leave. Carrie and Jody don't really feel like saying goodbye, so they just go out. Ripsy packs up her 7 bags and just gives away her designer clothes. I'm fucking so sorry. Amy can't help but be a little shady about this, even though she said that she loved Ripsy.
That's all I had to do was know you for 4 days. Thank you.
We say goodbye to Ripsy, but not before a sad interview where she says that she feels just empty inside. And to me, it seems like she just fills that void with alcohol. So I'm really hoping she found something else to feel fulfilled in life. Carrie's boyfriend comes to the house and Amy, again, just can't help herself.
She had a few scratches on her. Big deal.
She loves being shady. But Carrie tells him what happened and again says that she feels like nobody could get her off of her. And I thought maybe she was just talking about production since they did not step in once. But honestly, the roommates tried their hardest. Ty, Leslie, and Amy go shopping. Ty buys one of those little turtles that they used to sell on the street. And it makes me so sad because I also had one when I was little and feel so bad because they keep it in that little container that they bought it in. I don't think they ever get him a new tank. His name is Versace, and I think he's mentioned literally one other time, and that's it. We don't even know what happened to him. Jody and Zara talk about Ripsy, and Jody says that she would have forgave her if she apologized, which she did not. She thinks about it more, and she tells Zara that she doesn't believe her when she says that she didn't realize how serious it was. She doesn't get why nobody stopped Ripsy, even just with Carrie, and calls Leslie a hypocrite for everything that went on the first night. But I don't think she knows that Leslie said that she is not getting involved in anybody else's drama because of that night. So actually, she's not a hypocrite. The next day, Versace escapes. It makes me so sad. And the pool boy comes over to clean the pool. Jody and Carrie are thirsting over him, and Amy is not a fan.
Jody, dude. It's like she never seen a guy in her life. She'll do anybody.
Are we surprised? Carrie and Jody give him a tour, and Carrie is more interested even though her boyfriend just left after buying a same-day airplane ticket to comfort her. Carrie gives the pool boy her number. Girl, what are you doing? She says it's just harmless fun, and while her boyfriend was there, she did say that he is the one who takes the relationship more serious than her. It's just so sad. The pool boy's name is Steve, and that night they go out with him and his buddies, and this is when we meet him. A name so diabolical, Tomic. Zara takes a liking to him, while Jody and Carrie take a liking to Steve. Again, this is crazy Carrie. Amy says that she's not worried about anybody else. Okay, let's hold on to that. Carrie and Steve dance all night, and they put up a little montage of her grinding on him while her boyfriend is leaving her a message at home. Carrie and Steve are still dancing, and his hand placement is crazy. But Carrie draws a line when he tries to kiss her. She feels uncomfortable, so her and Jody go home. The roommates talk shit about her in the limo.
She's afraid of everything.
Outside, Zara and Tomic are flirting, and I can't stand it. It's just such douchebag energy. I've never seen a douchebag more personified than Tomic. He's a promoter, so he's always going out to places, and this is just super, super cool to a small town girl like Zara. Anybody else like Zara, I'm here to tell you, as someone from not a small town, do not fall for these promoters' tricks. It's not as cool as it seems. Back at home, Carrie's freaking out a little bit because of what happened, and she calls her man to tell him. He drags her, to be honest, and good for him.
You should be acting like you're in a relationship. If you don't want to be, then let me know.
She just did way too fucking much. But he forgives her, but sets a fat-ass boundary, which I think she needs. Back at the club, Zara invites Tomic and friends back to the house, and the other girls are like, what are you doing? They try to check her, which I can appreciate. Friends check you when you're doing something crazy, like inviting guys back to the house that you're flirting with when you have a boyfriend. And if that's a decision she makes, she can't say nobody else tried to look out for her. Back in the limo, they talk shit about Zara, and Amy says that she didn't want to be saved.
She didn't want to be saved.
Which I found so fucking funny. But they're like, we tried, and if she fucks it up, that's her problem. And yeah, it is. At the house, Zara tells Steve that he molested Carrie, and that she has a boyfriend, and that she didn't want her to invite him back to the house. Okay, Zara's super cool. Thank you so much for sharing. Tomic asks her who else has boyfriends in the house, and she says, Carrie and me, and that's it. We know what she was trying to do, but this is actually wrong because Amy has a boyfriend too. Something that kind of goes unmentioned for a lot of the season. They straight up laugh at her, and she just doesn't care. Atomic tells her that her boyfriend is for sure hooking up with other girls back at home, and Zara's like, yeah, probably. The next day, Zara and Carrie are talking, and Carrie makes a really good point about Zara just being really naive, and she's not seeing Tomic's true colors. Like, she really thinks this man just wants to hang out with her because she's super cool and he wanted to see the house. Carrie and Jody, meanwhile, talk about switching rooms so that Carrie doesn't have to be with the new roommate. Zara calls her boyfriend. She misses him so much. And then she gets on the phone with Tomic. He invites her to go out that night, and the other girls try to tell her what's going on, but she's not really listening. Everyone else is boring, so she just wants someone to hang out with. Amy says this, which I think is so fucking funny.
Zara's boyfriend's like 10 years old. She's like 14.
And she also says that she's 100% gonna cheat on him, so Amy, we will see. That night, Zara is really anxious to go hang out with Tomic, but Leslie and Ty still aren't ready. So she gets everyone else in the limo and leaves without them. They're like, wait, are they coming? And she's like, oh no, they said to just leave without them. But no, they did not say that. So when they see that the limo left without them, they're pissed. She was just in a rush to meet Tomek because it's her 23rd birthday. At the club, she bolts to him while the rest of the roommates just hang out with each other. It's been one day and she's this obsessed with him. Like, it's just embarrassing. Ty and Leslie wait for the limo to come pick them up. At the club, Amy, Jody, and Carrie want to leave, but Zara doesn't want to go yet. So when the limo comes with Ty and Leslie, they're like, what the fuck happened? And the rest of them confirm that it was Zara who told them that they were fine with it. They just cut her ass.
Don't use me as to why you're being a whore.
Zara actually makes it home before the rest of the girls. They went out to a different club. But at home, she calls her boyfriend and just straight up tells him that she hung out with Tomek, invited him back to the house, and they had their arms around each other. She sounds so annoying and childish, and her justification is that she needs guys' attention.
You know I need guys' attention.
And he's not there for her. I think she's able to manipulate this guy with her little childish antics because he's 18 years old. And it's really sad. He's mad about it, but they're still together. It really just reminds me of like a high school fight. The next day, it's her birthday, and everyone at the house is ignoring her. She's not used to this because she's a brat. Ty's the first to break the silence, and Zara straight up lies and tells her that Leslie said to leave. Ty's not really buying it, but either way, Zara's not really apologetic regardless. So back to Tomek, she bolts. Jody also switches rooms, which leaves Amy by herself with the new roommate. But surprisingly, she's fine with it. I think she just doesn't want to seem hurt that somebody wanted to leave her room. She didn't want her friend to room with the new roommate, but they didn't really give a shit if it was Amy. At the party, Zara's just following Tomek, and she's just so easily impressed. Like, I'm not even from like a big city, but this shit just seems so regular. No, she's a prime example of a city swallowing up a person. She goes back to his room, and he just spits some whack ass game at her, and it works.
Seriously, the sexiest thing ever.
Girl. Oh yes, Amy, thank you. She in fact did cheat. In the recap, we get a sliver of Ty's relationship back at home, and they're having issues, which wasn't mentioned before. We meet the replacement, Deanne from Dallas. She has the same issues as the other girls. Girls don't like her, she's different than other girls, but they're really nice to her, which is super sweet. Back at the house party, Tomek is still spitting more whack-ass game as Zara.
You're so sexy.
And in her interview, she's comparing Tomek to Jared and seems to like Tomek more, but it's just because it's newer, girl. Leslie and Ty are very confused by Zara's actions because Ty loves her boyfriend and feels like she can never do that to him, which is cute, but again, the recap showed that they were having issues, which was never mentioned before. At the house, Carrie and Jody are talking to Deanne, and they're excited to have another blonde, but they tell her that the other roommates don't really like blondes, even though Ripsy, a blonde, attacked the both of them. But she says that they're going to be there for 3 to 4 months, and I just thought that was insane because usually it's like 1 to 2 months. We also find out that Deanne has a 7-year-old son, so the first Bad Girls Club mom. Yeah, these girlies don't really have the most positive experiences, specifically because of that. Amy tells Deanne that she reminds her of a stuck-up, snobby roommate that she had. Okay. Ty and Leslie meet her, and they say that she just looks like every other bitch. Okay. Amy, Carrie, Jody, and Deanne go to a sports bar, but Amy is just not feeling it. It's not her thing. And Deanne says that she's just miserable and negative. I think, yeah, she's a complainer. She complains about literally anything and everything, and that's coming from someone who also complains about a lot. But she takes the cake. Ty's on the phone with her man, and there's tension. They're arguing about him being faithful, so looks like someone cheated before. Tomek gets Sarah a cab after they did whatever they did, and she gets home after the 4 girls, but she just runs upstairs and doesn't interact with any of them. Also, just to let you know, the storylines jump around a lot, so I'm sorry if it's like, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened. I try my best to just talk about the more relevant parts that come up later on in the season. I tried. The next morning, Jared calls Zara, and she's not trying to talk to him. She goes ice skating with Ty and Leslie, and she does not tell them what happened. Meanwhile, at home, Carrie and Jody are having some good old-fashioned hose water fun on the slip and slide, and Amy is inside complaining about what everyone else is doing. And she says this.
You're acting like a bunch of
The 3 blondes go out and they talk shit about Amy and her negativity. It's looking like there's gonna be problems down the line. Sarah and Deanne are talking about her boyfriend and how he was so sad that she left him to come here. The way she talks about him, it gives me that he's wrapped around my finger. I can do literally whatever I want and he'll stick around. And so far, she's done whatever she wanted. So we're gonna find out if he sticks around. She goes to Tomic's house yet again, and Tomic tells her that his ex is super sad about them kissing. At minimum, they kissed, so she cheated. At home, Deanne talks to Jody and Amy about her son and her life story, and Amy seems to open up a little bit more. Deanne says that she was hanging out with the wrong crowd, doing drugs, but after she found out that she was pregnant, she was done with all of it, so he saved her life. So sweet. We see Amy showing interest in something because she does have a little niece, so kids seem to be her soft spot. She looks at pictures of her son and she's just so sweet about it. Zara then gets home and Ty makes fun of her.
Should I just got done getting
Zara doesn't want to be judged because they don't know her. Girl, all they know is what you told them, and so far you told them that you have a boyfriend and you're going to this random ass guy's house to cheat on him. She calls her boyfriend and tells him yet again that she went to Tomic's house, and oh my god, the manipulation.
You know I'll always help you.
No matter what. She tells him what happened, and obviously he's not super happy. But then she does what every toxic partner has done and kind of shifts the blame to him for ending the relationship. But Jared tells her, rightfully so, no, it was you who ended the relationship by doing that. Honestly, good for you, Jared. Zara just wants to have fun, so she gets on the computer and we get this disgusting message from Tom. I hate it so much. She tells him that she is single. In the recap, we see a little bit more of the conversation between Zara and Jared, and he tells her to never call him ever again. How I wish she didn't. We find out that Ty is bisexual and Leslie is very open to her. That surprisingly becomes a controversial issue down the line. I know. Jody's hanging out with the other blondes and they meet a guy named Jonathan who she really likes and invites back to the house. Here we find out that Jody was actually engaged for a few months before she called off the engagement. And this guy was also engaged, so it seems like a perfect match. Meanwhile, Zara brings Tomic to the house and we get an interview from him, but he claims to like Zara. And in her interview, Zara admits to liking him. You know who doesn't like him though? I'll give you 1 second to guess. Amy, I know. He makes a comment about their dirty ass floors and she doesn't appreciate this. He asks him where the hot guys are because she needs a hot guy. Everyone around her is so ugly. Says, well, you guys wouldn't even be able to get into those places anyway. And as a Tomic hater, I don't think he was saying like, you guys are too ugly to get in. I think he was probably referring to the cameras. Thankfully, Tomic leaves, but Amy bitches at Zara for this. Zara doesn't agree with Amy and this upsets her. She doesn't like that Zara called what she said a rude thing, but then didn't call out Tomic for him being rude since he said that they need a vacuum. They keep going back and forth, but then we get something we haven't gotten so far, and it's a coming up on the Bad Girls Club. We get this every single time before a commercial break in later seasons, but in this one, Zara and Tomic are having a lover's quarrel.
Coming up on the Bad Girls Club.
I'm getting a lot of red flags.
The next day, Tomic invites Zara to his house, and it's an open invite, but Ty and Leslie aren't going because they're going to a gay club. And we actually see Leslie with a backpack and a folder, very back to school of you. Jody was supposed to hang out with Jonathan, but he never called her back, so she goes too. Steve is there, and he says that he quit his job as a pool boy. Tomic is just being a douchebag. Amy and Tomic are bonding now, and she says that he's not the worst. So unfortunately, his charm worked on her too. Zara and Tomic are booed up, and Zara fucks up. She says, my boyfriend won't care about us kissing now. Girl. He gets so hurt by this though.
Whoa, what? You're what?
He doesn't trust her, which like, you knew she had a boyfriend and now he's not going to commit to her now, which first of all, whoa. But second of all, this is what crossed the line for you, not the fact that she had a boyfriend who she was cheating on with you. But sure, whatever. Immediately, Tomic takes Amy by the hand into his room. Tomic's friend's outside with Zara and peeps that he just took Amy into his room, but she doesn't think anything will happen. He's spitting more whack game to Amy, talking about, I only like Zara because I didn't see you. Ew. Amy seems to believe this. However, she doesn't just immediately go for him because one, that's not her thing, and two, she has a boyfriend that she doesn't mention, by the way. At the club, Ty is kind of questioning her sexuality because she is into women, but she has a boyfriend currently.
I like women. Did I just say that?
Back at the house, Amy is basking in the fact that Tomic likes her and how she tried to let Zara know that he ain't shit. But when they try to go home, Zara decides to stay behind even though she knows that he took Amy to his room. Still, Amy is Amy.
I'd spit in that person's face.
At the party, Zara and Tomic are talking about where they stand, and he kind of calls her fake, which, like, I don't know what the fuck Tomic is talking about.
This is how it is. This is real. This is how it goes.
Something about she has to take this with it. I have no idea. Zara tells him that even though she just got out of a relationship, she is open to see him. So Tomic says, fuck it then, we'll try. The next day, Jody is checking her voicemails and none are from Jonathan, so she got ghosted. Zara and Amy talk about what happened. Amy is just so aggressive.
Am I a dog?
Zara doesn't think that he would actually try to get with Amy, and Amy takes immediate offense to this, which honestly, kind of, right? Zara says that he hits on everybody, and like, girl, this is the guy you're chasing? The guy who you claim hits on everybody? Ew. Amy says that just because she doesn't look like the typical LA girly pop doesn't mean that it's so far out of this world that Tomic would want to hit on her because he genuinely wants to, not just because it's part of his everyday routine. Not even just that, but also the fact that she has which, like, Zara, yeah. Guys like this have a motto, and it is Zara confronts Tomic about what Amy said, and he denies it. In fact, he drags Amy and is like, why would he ever hit on her? He's with her, Zara, like they're together, which, whoa, what? But then Amy shows Leslie and Deanne a message from Tomic, which basically just contradicts everything that he's telling Zara. And yes, we're gonna read it. But I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I broke up with my girlfriend like a month ago, and now Zara thinks we're gonna be together. She's really into having a boyfriend. It's not gonna happen with me. Now I can't even kick it with you guys for like 2 minutes without her being weird about it and making it awkward if I talk to you. I don't know how much longer I'm gonna talk to Zara. I might not see girls again. Steve's out of your house, and if I stop talking to Zara, then I probably won't see you ever again. So we'll see what happens. I have a job to do, and Zara can't handle what I do for a living. I make paychecks from the clubs and the girls there. She's telling me that she would never talk to me again if she knew I even kissed another chick. Isn't that crazy? Her and I are not together. Anyways, so sorry for all the bullshit. I'm gonna go play a few rounds of beer pong and get ready for another night. What are you girls getting into? He completely downplays it and says that not only was it quick, but they were talking about her. He makes fun of Amy, and Zara believes him. Recap focuses on Zara and Leslie's friendship, so we know something's coming. And let me tell you, it's something. Zara calls Tomic yet again, and he gaslights the fuck out of her.
Incident because I talked to her for 2 minutes and you got so jealous.
This is a different day because she's wearing a different outfit, but they start talking about some other things, so they're good. They're showing how messy the girls are. There's ketchup in the bathroom, ew, and there's used napkins on the phone room, and Leslie is pissed because everyone's so messy. Leslie is going to a club tonight. A black club specifically. You know what's coming. Zara doesn't want to be the only white person there, even though Amy's going. It's Ty, Leslie, Amy, and Zara. Quite telling who else didn't want to go. They're talking about the place, and you can see Zara get so intimidated by it in the limo. I hate the way Zara acts in her interview because she's trying to play so stupid, like she doesn't know what's going on.
More of a African-American club?
After Zara hears Ty talking about the club, she's not with it anymore, so she opts to go home. Leslie feels some type of way because you're supposed to be her friend, and you're saying that you're uncomfortable around black people when she's black. Zara says she's not used to hanging around all these black people because she comes from an all-white town. You would think somebody who has a goal of making it in the big city would be more open to, I don't know, being around different races. Like, what the fuck? Do you think a big city is just gonna have your race? Like, what is wrong with you? What is there to be uncomfortable about? Say it, Zara. But yeah, she is too mature and ignorant to even realize that. So she goes home, and her face in the interview is so fucking annoying to me.
Decided to go home.
I also feel some type of way because literally, what is the problem? They go out with them, and sometimes they're the only black people in the place, and you don't see them going home because they don't want to be around all these white people. And to be honest, this place looks no different than the other places they've gone to. As annoying as Amy is, she has a blast at this place. At home, they say that Zara says she feels uncomfortable around, quote, all these black people, which we actually didn't hear her say, but now we know the context. That's why they're like, what is there to be uncomfortable around? Like, you're not uncomfortable around us. But they're talking out loud, and Zara's like, say it to my face. Immature. Then she goes outside to cry to Carrie and Jody. Carrie tells her, well, this is why they're upset because you said this. And she confirms that, yes, she in fact said that. They tell her to just go talk to her about it, but Zara is annoying and immature, so anything that has to do with, hey, I was wrong, is not something that will come out of Zara's mouth. Zara, this is effort that is required to maintain a friendship. It's not all about you. Ty actually wants to move past this, so she just lets it go. And it's annoying because I feel like Zara keeps getting off scot-free because she plays into like her being dumb and not knowing what's going on. I think you know what's going on, especially because she said, I'm the one who sticks up for other races back at home. You can ask anybody at home. Leslie's annoyed because she saw Ty talking shit about Zara and is like, why are you cool with her all of a sudden? Ty says that she doesn't think Zara is a racist or anything. She just doesn't understand what she says sometimes. But you can't really take what she says serious. And I get that, but I feel like, why are you giving her the excuse? I feel like that's something she can say herself. But of course, she can't, so someone else has to say it for her. Even during that, Zara is downplaying how Leslie should feel because she needs to just get over this little thing that happened.
It's not a big deal. Get over it.
Was it the worst thing we've seen on the show? No, but I think that if you want a friendship with somebody, again, you need to put in more effort than that. Ty and Leslie actually have a little bit of a heated moment from this, but they're able to talk it out. And I like this. Like, their friendship seems more genuine than the rest. You see, Zara, how Leslie tried to talk it out with Ty, and they did, and they're fine.
When I be doing like that, don't take it the wrong way, because I don't mean it the wrong way.
It's not that hard. But Ty does make a good point about where's the line between fake and forgiveness. They're both choosing to handle it in different ways, and that's up to them. I like that they're handling things differently, but they're able to just acknowledge it and not fight about it. Moving on from that, Comic calls Zara and she is gassed that he called her first. Zara, this is a barrel. This is the bottom. This is where that's at. Please stand up. She tells him about the fight with Leslie and refers to Leslie as
The big black girl.
you see what I mean? Like, for someone who claims ignorance and like she doesn't know what she's saying, you can't take her serious. Like, girl, time to figure it out. She calls what Leslie did temper tantrums, even though she's not even talking to her. But she tells Tomic that since she wants to act like that, she's gonna do everything and anything to push all of her buttons. Mind you said something insensitive to her. She feels some type of way, doesn't really want to talk to you. So your response to that is to antagonize her further. And yet somehow you're going to find a way to justify this and also somehow be the victim, I'm sure. Zara and Carrie go to the store, and in the car they find a bottle belonging to Miss Clean Freak Leslie. So they write a passive-aggressive ass note on it saying, practice what you preach. The next day, Zara wakes up and gets ready as loud as she can. Leslie wakes up, walks past her. Nothing is said to her. Zara, Jody, Deanne, and Carrie decide to dress up like 80s hobos and dance around Hollywood. Like, okay, cool, so funny. Oh my god, they're bored. Leslie calls her mom and is complaining about Zara waking her up. So she knew what she was doing, but she didn't say shit to her. Then she finds the bottle in the car while she was driving, going somewhere. So she turns the car around to go back home to confront whoever wrote it. Zara denies that it was her. Carrie doesn't say anything. No one owns up to it, so she goes back out. Deanne is annoyed with Zara because she knows that she did it. And because of her, Leslie woke Deanne up from her nap to argue, so they have a house meeting. Zara tells Leslie why she did it, and Leslie says, next time just let me know. Don't write me a passive-aggressive note. I can understand where Zara's mind is, because when they were arguing about the club thing, Leslie was kind of just arguing in the kitchen, not telling her. So in her mind, she's like, okay, well, if you can't talk to me about shit that's going on, then I don't have to either. Leslie's like, you don't have to write me notes, like, just let me know. And we move on from it. But then Carrie says, Zara, I don't think that you're racist. Leslie agrees and just lets it go. But Zara wants to have a more meaningful conversation later on where they can talk about it with good intentions. But Leslie says no. She doesn't think that Zara has good intentions, and she's no longer interested in growing with her during all of this. Zara leaves the meeting and sobs in the bathroom.
Oh my god, it's in the kitchen! It's gray!
Amy is freaking out about a rat. She takes her bag and goes outside. But Leslie's like, oh, so you always talk about fighting everybody, but now you're scared of a rat? Interesting. Like, oh, shady. Some of the girls decide to go camping, but Amy, Leslie, and Ty are not with it, and they're not going. Ty talks about her relationship with Jody, and she seems kind of over it. Ty then calls her boyfriend and is asking him for money. She says that she's with them because he helps her out financially. And I thought she loved him. That's what was said a few episodes ago. But we do find out that she got her felony for forgery. Juan, her boyfriend, has no money, so she's annoyed because he told her that he has money and now all of a sudden he doesn't. And this is a great life lesson that you do not depend on anybody, not even your husband, much less a boyfriend who cheated on you already financially. And another unfortunate lesson is that only you are responsible for your actions. When facing the consequences, you have to face them alone, or at least go about it as if you're going to face them alone. Because if anybody pulls out of the situation, it doesn't matter because it still falls on you. Carrie and Deanne are talking about pranking everyone, including Jody. So it seems like Carrie and Deanne are much closer to each other than they are with Jody, which I'm sure sucks for Jody because she literally switched rooms with her before Deanne even came so that they can be together because, you know, they have a little bit of a shared Ripsy trauma. The plan is to tell Jody that they're going on a tour of Hollywood, but meanwhile, they're just going to go to a costume Halloween type of store to gather all of these supplies. They break off from Jody and Amy, who go shopping together, and like, oh, look at them. They're such good friends now, but they're supposed to pick them up at a certain time. That time comes, and Amy and Carrie are waiting for them. They are nowhere to be found. So Amy is getting impatient.
Alright, well, great, because we're stranded.
Carrie and Deanne are at the Halloween store just buying anything and everything. They spend like $200 at the store. Amy, because she feels played, decides to tell Jody the truth. So when Jody says they're doing a Hollywood tour, so who knows how long that's going to take, Amy's like, they're actually not doing a Hollywood tour. Amy was told not to say something to Jody. And because she felt some type of way, she did. Just keep that in mind. We get another coming up on BGC, and this is Amy threatening to bleach their clothes.
Coming up on the Bad Girls Club.
They got jokes? Well, I got jokes too. I'm gonna bleach all their clothes.
Amy tells her that they're planning on playing a joke during the camping trip, and Jody feels some type of way. They take a cab home, and the second Deanne and Carrie get home, Amy makes it a huge issue. Deanne literally just throws a 20 at her, and Amy's fine because in her head, okay, the cab ride only cost $10, so I made $10. Great. Jody's like, oh my God, how was the Hollywood tour? Deanne immediately is like, do you not believe that we went? So she thinks that she knows. And she's pissed because she's like, I just spent $200 for what? So now that they know Amy was the one who snitched, they decide to play a joke on Amy. The next day, they're off to camp. And before they leave, Deanne puts a fake rat under Amy's bed. Deanne, Zara, and Carrie open their alcoholic beverage of choice so that they don't have to drive. And Jody's so pissed because once again, she has to drive. And honestly, I wouldn't even go anymore because we're all going camping. We can all drive. On the drive there, they run out of gas. Some guy helps them. Thank you so much, Mr. Avery.
Thank you, Avery. Love you.
They get to the campsite. They can't build their tents. And there's this other guy there who's being really annoying. At home, Ty gets a phone call from her boyfriend, but she's not interested. And Amy finds the rat.
Cute? Because I'll smack the out of them.
Remember the rat in the beginning? Before they left, Amy said, you guys better not bring another rat back. But she wants revenge, so she's gonna bleach their clothes on their bed. Leslie tries to stop her because she's like, you don't even know who did it. Back at camping, they have to get help from this family, and they're just so cute, but they warn them that they can't build bonfires here. They do it anyway. They're setting up their campsite, and that annoying guy is still there, and Jody's kind of flirting with him, so the other girls are pissed. This was supposed to be like a bonding experience for them, so no creepy boys allowed. At home, Amy gets all of their clothes and sprays this cleaner on them. I thought it was Clorox, but they mentioned later on that it's bathroom cleaner. I don't think it's strong enough to actually bleach their clothes, like the big white bottle with the blue cap. I was actually walking in Target one day and an employee dropped one of those. It exploded and bleached my airy leggings and shirt. He gave me a gift card, so we're good. Amy's confessional is something.
Country, corny, blonde hair. Whatever. I ain't scared.
I don't think she could think of anything else besides blonde. At the campground, Jody's feeling a third wheel, even though Zara's still there. But the camp manager pulls up, and because they built that campfire, they gotta go. So they TP the place as revenge. Ty calls Juan, and they're still fighting because Ty feels like he's being shady, and he did cheat, so, I mean, it's understandable. But Ty says that they'll still be together if he pays her fine, so he does. I mean, at the very least, she got him to pay for it, right? She's just so unhappy in the relationship. In the recap, they show a montage of Ty being upset to try to make it seem like she has this terrible temper. You're shady, I know what you're doing. Everyone is back at home, and we see them going through their clothes, but they don't confront anybody about it just yet. Ty and Jody are talking about Ty's past, and this seems to be earlier on in the season because you can see Jody's eyes still more injured as if it just happened. But we find out that she was put in the foster care system with her brother because her mom was abusive. She ran away a lot, and she's been on her own for a really long time. But because of her felony, she can't get a job and dropped out of college. She was majoring in journalism and she just feels like absolutely no one's gonna hire her if she has a felony. And she did a year and a half in jail. Like, damn. Okay, so now I think we're back in the present because Leslie's talking to Amy about the clothes. And again, we see Carrie going through it, but she thinks that all Amy did was put it on their bed. Because again, I don't think that cleaner could do any damage to the clothes. Jody and Zara are getting wine wasted, and Ty and Leslie go out and they also get wasted. But mostly Ty. She throws up outside of the taxi. I feel bad. Hopefully production paid for the car wash. They get home and wake up Deanne and Amy is pissed. She has to wake up early that day and Leslie is singing at the top of her lungs trying to cover up Ty's throwing up noises. They kind of get into it a little bit and have like a screaming match. Leslie's just like, whatever, fine, if you don't give a fuck, I'll leave. So she takes Ty to her bedroom. The next day, Leslie and Ty both feel some type of way about the way Amy acted because they felt like she just didn't care about Ty. And now Ty feels disrespected by Amy. I wouldn't say she disrespected her, but I feel like out of everyone, Leslie should know how annoying it is to be woken up. But Amy says that she's tired of being woken up, so it may have happened more than once. She was also upset because she had a job interview the next day. That's why she had to wake up so early. Ty's on the phone and she's crying, and it seems like it's getting hard for her to keep her cool in this house. They decide to go to the beach. Jody and Zara, though, stay home, and they're just being so crazy and just so goofy.
They're so crazy.
At the beach, it looks cold and not fun, to be honest. Amy isn't having the best time. She's kind of just hanging out alone. It's hard to tell though because she pretty much looks like this all the time. And now it's time to go and things get serious. Ty asks Amy to carry the raft up and she says no. They start arguing. Ty feels like this is just common courtesy to help bring up the stuff, but Amy's like, I don't want to help. They're just screaming at each other. Ty saying that she will spit on her. Leslie tries to get in the middle, but Ty does that like finger push. Ty calls her pussy, says that she's not going to disrespect her in front of her peeps because she invited some of her friends. That's who all these random girls are. And then at the top of the hill, Ty does in fact spit on Amy. Amy tries to spit back, but it doesn't go well for her. They fight and Ty lands at least 13 hits. Ty knows how to box and Amy doesn't. Amy's nose is bleeding, the inside of her lip is bleeding. She got fucked up. Leslie is distraught because she tried to stop Ty, but she didn't listen, so now she knows she's going home.
Why you do that? Come here, man.
I feel the same exact way as I did when I first watched this. Ty started it, she dragged it, and it was unnecessary. Amy didn't disrespect you. She didn't want to carry the raft. Is it annoying? I'm sure. I mean, maybe she just didn't use the raft, so she was like, I don't want to carry stuff that you guys use and I didn't. Like, you guys can carry it. Who knows? But regardless, not wanting to do that is not disrespecting you. Ty says that she feels like Amy was coming for her pride by challenging her, which is something else I can't stand because if anybody talked to Ty that way, the way Ty spoke to Amy, that alone would have been grounds for her to fight. She also says now Amy will respect her, and to be honest, no. You cannot force somebody to respect you, especially not by beating them up. If anything, they're gonna hate you even more. She doesn't care though. She knows she's going home, and when they get home, she starts to pack. Leslie kind of checks her, and good for her, honestly.
It was me and you walking and becoming big girls and changing that was supposed to be changed.
She's like, what respect did you gain? Like, you needed Amy's respect that bad? What did you expect her to do after you spit on her? And Ty's like, I expected her to sit there and take it.
Sit there and take it?
Are you for real?
Yeah.
What? Are you out of your mind? It's weird though. She's very adamant that she did the right thing while she's talking to Leslie. But in her interview, she acknowledges that it wasn't the right thing to do, but it was necessary given the circumstances. After Ty leaves, Leslie does check up on Amy, which is cute. There aren't really sides in this house. And we end with Leslie wishing Ty all the best. Leslie is alone in the limo because she's going to 740, the same club that she was going to with Ty, Zara, and Amy. No one wants to go out with her. Ew, just go out with her. At home, Amy is explaining to Jody why she lost the fight, and Jody could not care less. Amy lets us know yet again that she's just not scared, and Jody drags her in her interview because she's like, Amy keeps talking like this, but she's just like 100-pound girl. Like, she can't really do much. Carrie sets up a meeting with Bobby Tomberlin, a songwriter, and the other girls are really excited for her, so they celebrate in the hot tub, and Carrie sings a little bit for us.
To all you other girls girls like me, this song is for you.
And she has a really cute voice. It's just that me personally, I'm just not a country music gal. Leslie calls up a photographer that was Ty's friend to set up a shoot for her modeling portfolio. Again, she's trying to change her career path because she doesn't want to be stripping when she's 30. So Leslie goes to her photo shoot, and then the blondes go to Carrie's meeting with the music writer. At the photo shoot, Leslie looks so good. Her face, flawless. I love it. Carrie and Bobby talk about music while Jody and Deanne walk the beach until they're done, and Jody makes a comment to Deanne about Bobby being really cute. After like an hour or so, they come back and they show them the work that they've done, and Jody is kind of falling for Bobby, and Bobby doesn't seem super opposed to it. Jody is dropping hints that she's single.
I'm single, so...
But now Carrie feels some type of way because she feels like Jody's taking her moment away from her, because now Bobby's asking Jody about her life, even though the whole meeting was supposed to be about Carrie. At the house, Carrie tells Deanne that the way that Jody acted reminded her of her ex-boyfriend, and she tells us this ridiculous story about him. She had an audition, he showed up to it, stole the mic from her, performed for them, and then got offered a record deal over her. Get the fuck out of here. This obviously wasn't that extreme, but it made her feel the same way, which is crazy. Leslie also gets home and she looks so good, but it makes me so sad that she's just doing this by herself. The next day, Zara, Deanne, and Carrie talk about her and wonder if she's just gonna keep being isolated from them or try to hang out with them, which, like, you guys don't want to go to the places she wants to go to. At home, Jody is on the phone with Bobby and he wrote her a song and is singing it to her on the phone. His game is much better than Tomic's. She tells the other girls and Amy's like, what? Why would he even do that? He doesn't know you. Like, she's such a hater. Amy notes that Carrie's not the type to stick up for herself, but Carrie in her interview is talking about how Jody is taking the moment from her and how mad she is.
Really makes me mad. It angers me.
And her being angry is honestly adorable. But she's so angry that she snaps her guitar string. At the club, Zara and Tomic are dancing, and Zara says that she's now dating Tomic. Wow. Amy points out that Zara is just so desperate for a boyfriend that she's willing to overlook Tomic flirting with other girls. Literally at the club, Tomic starts to flirt with Deanne, and also tells her that while Zara and him were seeing each other, he four other girls. Zara confronts him about hitting on another roommate yet again, and he gaslights the shit out of her yet again. He also tells her that if she wants him to do that so bad, then he will. And Sarah's like, okay, so then do you want me to do that too? And like, he doesn't care. But he is so sick of Zara. Steve also gets an interview and like, the fuck? But he says that at first he didn't like Deanne, but now he likes her because she's fun. And they go get tattoos together while they're drunk. They get the word drunk in Chinese. This episode chose to do this weird thing where it just shows us the days of the week. So next day it's Friday. And Deanne wakes up not super happy about her decision. Ty calls Leslie and lets her know that she doesn't regret leaving because she was really mad and it was probably best that she not stay there. They got to meet with Tomic and Steve, and Zara says that now she sees the asshole in Tomic, which, like, girly pop, it was there from the start. Look at him. Steve and Deanne are kissing. We get another interview from Tomic. He talks shit about her and says that he's done with her. Then he starts kissing another girl. They make it seem like Zara saw it, but I don't think she did. But he does tell her, oh hey, I'm gonna go f another girl. And she's like, oh hey, do you want me to do that? And he's like, go ahead. He doesn't care. She tries to do the same manipulation tactics that she uses with Jared, but it doesn't work with somebody like Tomic. He just walks away and she is really sad. Carrie tells Deanne about her whole pool boy experience and she's kind of giving hater. I'm not gonna lie. Because she's like, well, you should be flattered that he likes you. As if like, well, yeah, he liked me, so that means you're on the same level as me and you should be flattered about that. Like, maybe I'm looking way too deep into it, but the way she was saying it, that's the way it came off. Saturday, Zara is heartbroken and she admits that she definitely gassed Tomic and she made a huge mistake with Jared. Again, I could have told you that from day one. Deanne invited Tomic and his friends to a sumo wrestling party. I hate this so much. Carrie just thinks this is an excuse to hang out with Steve, and yeah, obviously. But Zara is not happy. She thinks it's stupid to invite these boys, even though she invited them to the house before.
She has a boyfriend, so she's like, don't bring him back to the house.
She talks to her friend Marcy, very agitated, and I'm only including this because I have a cat named Marcy, government name Marceline. The sumo wrestling competition is so stupid. Deanne wins against Carrie 3-0. Cool, thank you so much. In the kitchen, Tomic's friend asks him if Zara will look better if she went a little blonder, and Tomic's like, nothing could help her. Tomic thinks that Zara just wants the attention because she refuses to leave, but they're in the kitchen of the house she's living in at the moment. He tells her that he wants his hat back. She denies having it. And then they start making fun of what happened between them, and it's gross. We even get in the confessional a demonstration on what happened, and they're just making fun of Zara's private areas and how she didn't shave. He's not only gross, he's not funny, and he's stupid because it clearly wasn't a problem when you were all up in there. Again, what guy complains about getting like, how fucking old are you? Outside, Deanne and Zara are talking, and Zara is asking her to be a good friend and not defend Tomic, especially because of what he's doing to her. Deanne is a selfish friend and doesn't care about anything that's going on, especially because Steve is there. She also swears that this is just like a little hump and Zara is just gonna be cool with him the next day. Zara's like, absolutely not. So yeah, Deanne's not being the greatest friend, but we do get a little bit more information from Zara. Steve stays behind, and Amy has some thoughts on this.
I don't know who's more him or her.
They're genuinely so gross. They're eating food and making out in between, like it's disgusting. He spends the night and now it is Sunday. Zara is now trying to get her boyfriend back. She says something that is a perfect description of why she acts the way she does.
I like to get my way, and I'm willing to do anything to get this boy back.
She calls him and he tells her how hurt he is about what happened, and she makes it about herself yet again. She has hit rock bottom. And what is that exactly? Hooking up with a guy thinking that you guys are going to be together forever and getting played damn near immediately. She whines and whines to him.
Sorry, but I didn't realize it before, but I realized it now.
But Jared fucking clocks her. He's like, oh, what? Does Tomic not like you anymore? Is that why you're doing this? And yes, that actually is why, but she denies this. She in fact says, no, he wants me so bad, but I don't even want him anymore. Like, girl, oh my God. But this actually works. Again, he's 18, so not super shocking. Zara in her confessional says that Tomic meant nothing and it was just a stupid crush. Amy calls him Tomlick for some reason. It's crazy. I would have been calling him that the entire time, actually, since you want to make fun of her. Again, who makes fun of somebody for getting? Imagine you're a guy and you get and then the girl's like, haha, you got like, it is now Monday and Zara is burning the hat that she told Tomic she didn't have. Deanne is going tanning, and for some reason this becomes a problem. It was a little confusing to understand what exactly the issue was, but it seems like Amy thought they were waiting on Deanne because they wanted to go to Melrose to shop, but now she's just saying that she's going to go somewhere else, so they feel like they were waiting on her for no reason. You know, Amy's impatient. So she has an attitude, but now Deanne has an attitude because she's like, she's always annoyed. She's always on some shit, and she is. Deanne, Carrie, and Zara go into the car and they talk shit about what happened, and then Zara asks,
Do you talk to her much, Carrie? I don't think she cares too much.
Zara tells Carrie that Amy made fun of her music career. I also think she said something else, like maybe Amy also made fun of the way that she walked because she's making like these gestures. And Carrie says, yeah, that doesn't really bother me. But I think it was to that because then we see her crying about it at home. So I think that she was crying about the fact that she was making fun of her music career, not like the other thing. So yeah, that did hurt her feelings. At a house meeting, Carrie says if anybody wants to say anything to her, like, they should just say it now. Leslie has to tell her, like, no, Carrie, you say what is bothering you. So Carrie actually does. And she tells Amy, like, you made fun of my music career, but Amy denies all of these allegations. Jody leaves in frustration because she doesn't like the ganging up. I don't know. Zara tries to stay out of it, but they call her out because she's the one starting shit, and Leslie tries to kind of force it out of her that she was the one who started it, but she doesn't say anything. Amy and Carrie talk about what was actually said, and Amy claims that she never said that she wasn't talented. What she said was that her personality is just so passive that Amy thinks that she could get a record deal before Carrie because of her personality. It's clearly much stronger. Carrie actually believes Amy more than she believes Zara, which is surprising. Zara's annoyed by this, so she talks to Leslie and she's like, Deanna and Carrie literally forced me to tell them what was being said.
Deanna and Carrie made me tell them what she said.
Which is a lie because Zara brought it up first. Once again, blaming anybody else except for yourself. I don't think it was an issue that you brought it up. The issue is that you said it incorrectly. So if you're going to bring something to her attention, bring it up correctly. Everyone goes out except for Zara and they talk about what happened. And Leslie tells them that Zara told her that they forced her to tell her. And they're like, no, she literally brought it up herself, which is true. We actually saw this. But what's annoying is that there should be footage of what Amy actually said to kind of see who's lying. I don't know why they wouldn't show us that, but please know everyone's outfit, especially Amy's. Like, Amy, truly thank you so much for wearing such a distinctive shirt. It made everything so much easier. Sarah talks on the phone with Ripsy and she just enables her to keep drinking by herself. But here you can literally see Zara in the back going into the limo with them, so I have no idea why they chose to splice it this way. She's wearing her red striped shirt. In the club on a different night, again, note the outfits, where is Amy's shirt? They meet Tomic and Steve. Amy and Tomic talk shit about Zara, and even though Amy was really grossed out and felt bad for Zara because of how they were humiliating her, now feeds into the jokes about her private areas. Really whack of you. They get home and we see that they're wearing the same outfits from the ride to the club, and Zara's still on the phone drunk, so that's why they were able to splice these two scenes up together. Zara, Carrie, and Jody are upstairs talking about what happened, and Amy goes up to Zara and is like, would you like to say something? So Zara's like, how about you say something to Carrie about the way that you feel about her? But then Amy's like, you're the one always talking about everyone behind their backs. And Zara's like, no, I just tell it how it is, which we saw that she didn't. But they keep fighting back and forth and back and forth. Zara low blows Amy and just makes fun of the way she looks.
Your big ass nose.
Amy surprisingly walks away from it and just kind of slowly fades out of the argument because she doesn't feel like it's worth it anymore, which is growth. I will give her that. The next day, Amy tells Deanne what Zara said about her son, that if she had a son, she would not be here. But then Zara tells Carrie that Amy sprayed bleach on their clothes. Carrie didn't even realize that she sprayed anything on her clothes, but Zara's like, surprise, she only owned up to moving your clothes onto the bed. So now it's confrontation time. The only reason they're not super mad at Amy is because the cleaner didn't actually damage their clothes. Deanne is like, whatever about it. The only thing Carrie is more mad about is the fact that she didn't even put the rat under her bed, so she just got retaliated against for nothing. Amy takes zero accountability on this. She says, well, you laughed about it, so you deserve that too. Girl, what? No, just admit that you didn't know who did it. You knew who it could have been, so you just took it out on both of them. And you should have known that there was a possibility at least one person didn't do it, so you would have had to apologize to that person at the very least. That's too much to ask for. Deanne confronts Zara about what Amy told her, and Zara says, yeah, I said that. I said if I had a kid, I wouldn't be here. And Deanne kind of just walks away angrily. Amy is talking about beating up Zara with some pool balls, which surprisingly comes up later on in some type of way. Amy is plotting her revenge, but we see this is a different day because Amy's not wearing green. Deanne and Carrie discuss the revelations, but they both clock that they're just telling what the other person did to not be the guilty ones, but in reality, they're both guilty.
Be careful.
So this is one of those episodes, so annoying. They love these episodes on the Bad Girls Club. I don't know why, but it did make me wonder when these camera guys leave. In the scene, Zara and Leslie are both mic'd up, but Leslie claims that she was sleeping, which makes me think that this was just a fake ass scene. Jody's on the phone with a photographer named Kevin setting up a photo shoot. He wants to do a shoot in front of the Jesus wall because that's specifically what sold her.
Can we do
in front of the actual, I think it's called the Jesus wall.
Interesting. Meanwhile, Leslie's having some paranormal issues with the shower, and Jody says that she keeps dreaming about 666. They think the house is haunted. Jody and Carrie then talk about Christianity, and Jody has a problem with non-believers because they pick apart the Bible and are like, well, that's true. Well, that's not true. Well, that's true. And like, I don't know any non-believers that think a single part of the Bible is true. She believes that God's followers should act like ladies, not do things that are not wholesome and pure, and always maintain integrity. Interesting. Carrie is too a Christian, but feels like Jody keeps bringing it up just so people know that she's Christian. Zara calls professional ghost hunters how fucking fun. And then the door opens by itself as there's no drafts in this house. The blondes go to Jody's photo shoot and she talks about wanting to do Playboy with the photographer. Carrie's like, what? Because Jody doesn't like nudity, so how are you gonna do Playboy?
I think it's trashy.
But they just leave her to it and they go get food and they tell her they'll come back for her later. She's in front of the Jesus wall and says, I just want one that I'll love in front of this one. And then she does this pose in front of it. Meanwhile, Leslie applies to college so that she can have something else besides stripping. So she's also doing something more concrete just so she has all these different options. The girls come back now with Zara and Amy peep the pictures and she's like, what the fuck? Like, is she okay? She understands she's posing like that in front of saints, right? And surprisingly, I don't think Amy's like, ew, that's disgusting. But she is more like, you're the one who says you're a Christian. Like, why are you doing this specifically in front of a wall of disciples? But they're trying to go home because they are hungry. And Jody catches an attitude because she's like, okay, I want my pictures. They're taking forever to burn onto the CD because TBT. And I feel like I'm being rushed. So they just wait for her in the car. In the car, they talk their shit. They're like, the only reason she is feeling rushed at all is because she wants the pictures to upload to MySpace that night. What a time. But now it's 9 o'clock at night and she's being selfish. I don't really get why they can't just go pick up some food and then get her later or something. I don't know, but she finally comes back to the car without getting all of her pictures because it was just taking forever. But again, like she could have just gotten them the next day. She just really, really wanted them tonight for some reason, which is why like they're saying, okay, you're just being selfish about it. Like you can get these pictures any other time. Why do you need it specifically for tonight? She's annoyed because she felt rushed. She spent $2,000 on this photo shoot, didn't get all her pictures, and now people are being bitchy to her. And if they were doing this for somebody else, she wouldn't act like that and she would be patient for the person. They're all annoyed and they do not let her slide. Deanne tells her straight up, you're a hypocrite.
Yeah, and you're posing with your legs spread right open above Mary.
And Jody's appalled that she would stoop so low, especially because she never judges her decisions. And she easily could. It's getting a little heated between them, so Carrie jumps in and is like, well, no, like they were a little crazy though. And Jody's like, I didn't even know about the wall. I had no idea. Like, girl, what?
I swear on my life, I didn't look at the pictures that were on the wall.
But yeah, there's some tension now. At home, Jody is talking to Carrie and is like, I don't understand why Deanne is low blowing me. Like, I could easily low blow her about her son, but I choose not to. Like, girl, like you're already doing it at this point, no? And is calling you a hypocrite really like low blowing you? I don't see it as a low blow, but it was quite a blow. It was. The ghost hunters are here and they're trying to find the spirit that could have possessed Ripsy. That's why she acted like that. So dumb. The next day, thankfully, Jody got her pictures and she is trying to black out the Jesus wall in the back of them. And like, what is the point? These pictures are garbage. They're just scrap them. I don't even think they're good enough for MySpace. Like, what photographer is gonna be like, oh, cool, here's you with the fucking Microsoft Paint blacked out photo. At least have the photographer or an editor do it and like maybe Photoshop it or something. At lunch, Carrie and Deanne are talking about Jody and Deanne is over her. And now the ghost results are in and it's inconclusive. Super cool. And then we find out that Zara was the one actually doing all of these things, which means these ghost hunters are fake because they should have known that. They all agree to go out together finally, and this is the same night as the fight with Amy and Zara thanks to Amy's outfit. At the club, Zara is mingling with some girls that made fun of Jody outside on the line. Jody tries to get Zara to come back to them, but one of the girls grabs her, puts her hands on her, and Jody has some words.
She's standing there with her other three little friends.
The tension is growing and The Bad Girls Club girlies are just trying to leave, but Zara is making it hard because she just wants to stay with these random people. Leslie is annoyed because when she and Ty, they never had these issues, but every time she goes out with them, it's drama for no reason. In the limo, they're telling Zara not to go hang out with strangers, especially strangers who are rude to your friends. And of course, Sarah plays naive, like she has no idea what was going on. And they were nice to her, even though she was there when the girl was grabbing Jody. Like, come on. At what point will you know? Yeah, Leslie's not trying to go out with them anymore. The next day, Deanne's trying to quit smoking, but Zara, the bad influence, smokes a cigarette in front of her, so she takes a hit. Leslie goes to her first day of class, and she's going to American Intercontinental University. Leslie gets home from her first day and asks the other girls what they did, and Deanne and Carrie like, we went to play bumper cars, and Jody's like, I was sleeping all day. They play a flashback with the most dramatic music and echo. And Leslie looks quite disappointed. The girls are getting ready to go out, and Leslie stays home because she has to write an essay. And they keep showing the girls partying while Leslie's at home, like, okay, we get it. Zara gets trashed, and when they get home, she calls Jared again, and she's so whiny and annoying.
I can barely walk right now, Jared. Do you understand?
But she goes to throw up, and Leslie helps her through it. The next day, it's almost 10:30, and Leslie is sleeping, the phone is ringing, and we find out that it's her college's admissions office looking for her mandatory orientation that was scheduled at 9 o'clock that day. Never in my life has my college ever called me to tell me about any event going on. It didn't matter what it was, because if you missed it, that's your problem. Leslie finally wakes up, and she tries to call them back, and it's like, okay guys, I'm on my way, but her advisor's like, it's too late. Leslie's upset, so she wants to leave. She calls a house meeting and tells them that it's time for her to go. She drags the girls for not doing anything with their life. And when I posted a short of this on TikTok, I got dragged. I'm gonna double down on it because I still feel the same way. The things I got called for this opinion in that comment section was insane. But regardless, it still stands because I don't agree with what Leslie is saying. They're all there for different things. All of it is to better their lives. They're not working on it 24/7. But like, neither are you. Zara says that she's in school and she's content with her career path. Jody already has a job. She has a career and she's working on her modeling. Carrie is working on her music and she's setting up meetings for this. Like, what else can she do? Amy says that she's working on her anger. Maybe the only thing besides that was making friends for her, but she wasn't really there for much else, and Leslie's cool with her, so she's doing it. She's making friends. And I would also like to add that she was trying to get a job during this, because as you remember, she was upset that they woke her up because she had a job interview in the morning. Leslie's like, well, Zara, you specifically, all you do is drink all day. If she's in college, this is a break from college. And Jody's like, well, this is a vacation for me. I don't really see anything wrong with that. I think it would have been more fair for her to say, hey, this is what I'm doing with my life. Going to school requires me getting up early, and this environment is not great for somebody who needs to do that because you guys come at all hours of the night. You guys could wake me up. That was pretty much it, right? I'm sure she would still go out on the weekends, you know? Like, I don't agree with what she's saying or how she's saying it, but I do agree that this isn't for her right now because of what she's trying to do, so she needs to go. It's later in the day, and at this point, Jody, Carrie, and Deanne are out of the house. Only Zara and Amy are home, and this is when Leslie leaves, and she says goodbye to the both of them. Zara is on the phone complaining to Jared about her boo leaving, but she is excited that he is coming to visit her soon, so we get to meet him. Leslie left a little note, super cute. When the blondes get back, they are sad that she left, and they vow to try harder with their goals here. In her interview, Carrie says that she doesn't think that Les is going to be able to change her career because that money is good. But I think that she did, so good for her. Deanne calls Jared to plan the visit because Zara knows that he's coming, but not when, so they plan to surprise her. At the club, they're all over the place. Zara is just finding new people to hang out with, specifically this girl. Amy is talking to this guy, and they're trying to make it seem like she's talking shit about Zara to this guy, and I do not believe it one bit. Zara is kissing girls, and Dan's like, whoa, don't experiment with me. It would be crazy if somebody tried to kiss me, guys, right? We get it. Amy has her opinion on this, as she always does.
If you're not a lesbian and you're kissing girls, it's for show. Guys know you're doing it for show.
But Zara does say that she might get in trouble for this. Again, if you know that your boyfriend doesn't like it, don't do it. The next day, they go to a skating rink, and this is where they plan to surprise Zara. Yikes. At the place, they're falling, having fun. Amy cracked a smile. Wow. Zara's whining so much that this random guy decided to help, so they're holding hands and skating. And of course, this is when Jared holds up, suitcase in hand, and he gets to witness this. So embarrassing. He gets onto the ring and cuts through. Zara is so annoying. Jared is pissed off, but he doesn't like a scene, and I don't know why he's more mad. I mean, I guess I do know why. He's fucking 18 years old, but he's more mad at the guy, even though the guy doesn't know Zara or you. And Jared asks her if she kissed any guys tonight, which is like, it's funny, but also like, she did much more than that and you're still here, so it's kind of funny at your expense. Carrie has a meeting with Doc McGee, a music manager, so she's off to meet him at his office. He invites her to a George Clooney dinner, and his partner's like, we could finish the meeting there, and it's like, first of all, ew, second of all, just finish the meeting here at the scheduled meeting time. She's already there. Back at home, Zara's showing Jared pictures of her experience and shows him a picture of her kissing Tomic on the cheek. Like, girly pop. I know you didn't know he was coming at this exact moment, but you knew that he was gonna show up eventually, so why would you keep that picture? Why are we even showing him? Rip it up while he's sleeping or something. And the thing is, like, I don't think she's not sneaky. I think she's extremely sneaky. I just don't think that she cares enough, because she knows that regardless of what she does, she can put on this fake ass baby voice and he'll be okay with it. And I'm seething. Jared, stand up. Everyone else goes out without them because Jared's 18, so he can't go out. And they tell Tomic about Jared being there, and Tomic is just a loser hater, hater loser, a loser, a hater, both combined.
You can have your girlfriend back, bro. I'm done with her.
All of the above. The next day, Carrie and Dan go to get Carrie a little fit for tonight. And Carrie almost says the dreaded phrase,
but in the end,
thankfully she says in the end. She'll be very upset if she doesn't accomplish anything. While she's shopping though, she gets a phone call and they tell her that there is no room at the table, so she cannot go tonight. And I'm just so annoyed because this is what I was saying, finish the meeting at the scheduled meeting time. But this means either one, this guy has zero fucking pull, that he can't get an extra chair at a table, embarrassing, whack. Or two, he wasn't interested and this was just his way of brushing her off, when again, he could have just told her at the fucking meeting he's not interested, but I don't even think he wanted to hear her. She is really sad though, I feel bad. Jared and Amy are home together and Jared's trying to have a conversation with her, but
See how Jackass really stapled his ass together.
Amy doesn't know how to talk to this kid. Meanwhile, Zara's just being whiny and annoying with him, saying like, this is the man I want to marry, so I have to tell him everything. So she tells him about kissing girls, and he's like upset for maybe 2 seconds, but they're fine. Cool. The next day, the roomies go to a winery and get absolutely trashed. They crush grapes, and I'm disgusted. They leave with some bottles, and then when they get home, they open the door to 10 pieces of luggage. They got new roommates. This episode title is so shady, and we'll get into it later. In the recap, we see a little bit more of Jody's photo shoot, and the photographer literally tells her to grab her butt while she's posing in front of the Jesus wall. So it's like, how and why were you confused that people are like, what are we doing? 3 hours earlier, we meet Joanna from Sacramento, and she's honestly a hoot and a half. She's a go-go dancer, and she's super confident. Next, we meet Andrea from a small town in North Carolina, and she says the only thing to do there is die. She's more pessimistic than Joanne, but they kind of have the same personality, especially because they're both going in together. They look around the house, and while doing this, they go through everyone else's stuff, including their medications.
What's for schizophrenia?
But they also steal some alcohol from the fridge. In her interview, Jody says that they have a bond that no one else can share because only they experience this, and this is a common sentiment throughout the show. As many of them are. I feel like they just watch previous seasons and just cling on to them. We once again see the other roomies get home and Amy says that they look like trash. Super fun, super cute. Andrea doesn't feel a warm welcome, but Zara shows him some pictures and gives her the whole rundown. The other roommates are upset that they're getting new roommates, which is crazy because they're saying this in front of Deanne, who was also a replacement. And then Zara just talks shit about Jody once again because she's like, I also thought somebody was a drag queen when I first got here. And Joanne's like, you don't even have to tell me who it is. And Zara's just laughing about it. And then they pan to Jody on the phone. Jody calls a fashion designer she met on MySpace, and he wants her to walk in his fashion show. So her modeling thing is in fruition. She tells Amy, and Amy is just so mean. She says if Jody's gonna be a model, she should be a different type of model. Because if she's a runway model, they're gonna have skinny girls and then healthy, chunky girls like Jody.
Whoa, what are we watching here? Circus or what is this?
Again, this is 2006. And then we see Jody eating ice cream. Specifically, what looks to be Rocky Road ice cream. The name of the episode. Joanne and Andrea want to be in the same room, so they straight up ask Sarah, hey, do you think one of them would want to switch so that we could room together? Girl, absolutely not. She does frame it though, like, oh my god, like me, probably, like, I'll be cool with it. But the other girls, absolutely not. Like, so Joanne's like, you seem to be the nicest. And Sarah's like, yeah, I am. No, you are not. The other girls leave because they're annoyed that they ate their food and drank their drinks. And they say that Joanne and Zara are probably gonna be besties and then probably kiss. They're such fucking haters. Once they get home, Zara tells them that they asked to switch rooms, and she tries to make it seem like she was like, absolutely not. But in reality, she was like, well, the other girls definitely won't let you. To make herself yet again seem like she's not part of something. She's a little victim somehow. The next day, they show Jody eating ice cream yet again, but like, come on. First of all, the ice cream they showed the first time was light. I love Halo Top ice cream. That shit's like 300 calories per pint. So I eat the entire thing and only weighs 300 calories. So I'm assuming this light version is much less calories, but they're trying to make it seem like she's this overeater just constantly eating ice cream. They've been there for how many months? Almost 4 months at this point. I'm sure they have just random clips of her eating ice cream that they're just putting together. You're not low, but Deanne in her interview says that Jody is trying to prove that you don't have to be skinny to be a runway model, and good luck with that. Crazy though, because damn, she was just like a decade too early. Because now it's like, it's not a common thing, but you definitely see different body types now opposed to the 2000s. Joanne and Andrea go grocery shopping, and their humor is just not for me, but they get petties, and Joanne tries to teach her gold digging ways. But while they're here, they're like, damn, we're gonna be late to Jody's runway thing. Meanwhile, Deanne and Amy are at home contemplating even going, but they decide ultimately to go because at the very least, it'll be funny. They are such horrible friends. Maybe Deanne isn't really her friend, but we'll see later on that Amy expected more out of her, and like this is what she's giving her. Jody goes to her pre-show where Randolph is teaching her how to walk, because again, she's never walked. Randolph is a creative director, and he is much nicer than J. Manuel, because J. Manuel was very shady and not helpful at all. This is maybe like a few hours before the show, so there's only really so much she can learn. She is improving. She's just not elevating it like Randolph expected her, but compared to how she started, it's much better. But so as we saw, Joanne and Andrea are still running late, so the rest of the girls decide to leave without them. And in the car, they're letting us know that they're not fans of them, and especially because they keep using their stuff. After they leave, they finally get home, get ready, and you can see them using their stuff.
Okay, I'm using this body spray. I don't care if it's somebody's.
So the first group makes it to the fashion show, and I feel like this is when Amy was making fun of Zara with Tomic outside because she's wearing the same thing. I don't know, Amy loved this hairstyle, so who knows. Backstage, Jody is in hair and makeup, and she's just eating her food. Like, she doesn't give a fuck. Everyone else around her is starving, and she's just eating whatever the fuck she brought, which I understand, you know, the concept of that. Showing that you can look the way she does, which by the way, she is so skinny. She's just not the model skinny, but she is still skinny. But this whole message about like being able to do whatever regardless of how you look is just so overshadowed because everyone around her is saying, yeah, good luck with that. It's not gonna work. Like, look at how ridiculous you look. The fashion show starts and the girls peep that they have not seen Jody walk once while they've seen other models walk back and forth. And then we see backstage, which I'm assuming is before the show because Jody's just like looking around and like the models are not rushing. And again, we watched America's Next Top Model. It is hectic back there. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that this is prior to the show, but backstage, none of the clothes fit Jodie. The only thing she could find is this one dress because it's more stretchy. For a fashion show, you do fittings, you know, people have their outfits, especially for this show. Like, why wouldn't they, at the very least, even before the hair and makeup, like, found clothes that she could fit in? I don't know, very disorganized, but at least she got her one and she walks in it. She looks so good, except her garbage friends are just making fun of her the whole time. Amy says that she sees meat hanging out, she shouldn't eat so much ice cream. She does compliment her at the end, but it's like, you look so fat, but at least like your walk was good, huh? Girl. And then in her interview, Deanne's like, yeah, Jodie could be a model if she grew a few inches and lost weight. At dinner, they ask the new roommates why they're bad girls. Andrea says it's because she's crazy, and Joanne says because she is a go dancer at night and she has this secret life that nobody knows about. The non-blondes go out and they get trashed. We also see this guy who I recognized immediately, but Amy says Azera is always trying to get attention and she hates it. We all get it, Amy. Thank you so much. Andrea gets too trashed and she wants to go home, so Joanne tells Amy, I'm gonna go home with her. Zara's still in here. We'll send the limo to pick you guys up. Amy's like, okay, fine, whatever. Just make sure it comes back. What they didn't know, though, is that Zara was outside, so when she sees them leaving, she just hops in the limo with them. Joanne tries to say, like, oh no, Amy's inside. I'm not trying to get bitched out by her if, like, this is gonna be a problem. And Zara says, if she says she's fine in there and she don't want to leave, like, she'll be fine, don't worry. And Joanne just takes her word for it. Amy was not fine with it. When she realized that she was by herself, she was pissed. The limo does come back for her and takes her home, and at the house, she immediately curses out Zara. Zara tells the other girls, they told me it would be fine. So then she goes to confront the other girls and they're like, no, Zara said that you were fine because we were out there about to leave and Zara just hopped in. We didn't do it on purpose. She knew that you were in there by yourself, so she told us that you'd be fine. So now the anger shifts back to Zara and the new roommates peep how Zara just straight up lies. And as someone who is tired of Zara, I will say she's trashed. The way the conversation happened, I can see where the misunderstanding happened. Zara thought Amy told them she's fine by herself or she's fine in the club. So when Joanne is telling her, well, I'm not going to get bitched out for this, right? Zara's like, well, if she says she was fine, then she'll be fine, don't worry. But what Zara didn't realize is that the only reason she said that was because she thought she was there too, which I didn't really see Joanne specify. I think for one, Zara isn't just being a selfish little rat. I think she genuinely thought Amy was okay by herself. This is crazy coming from me, I know. Either way though, me personally, bitch, I'm never leaving you in the club by yourself. Are you out of your mind? The next day, Amy's on the phone with her boyfriend, Josh. I didn't forget about him. Jodie, Andrea, Joanne, and Amy go out for dinner, and Jodie feels like the dynamic has changed because she was once with the blondes, and she feels like she's out of the clique now, even though she's so blonde. These stupid idiots at home destroy the house. They cut up these pillows, have a pillow fight, then start rubbing peanut butter on each other, sticking the feathers onto the peanut butter, and then they start throwing peanut butter at each other, and it gets all over the ceilings, and they refuse to clean it up. At the Saddle Club, Jodie's actually appreciating the new roommates and the fact that they came, which is very surprising. But then they get home to the mess. They ask Sarah what happened, and she's just annoying as always.
Came 13 chickens apparently.
Andrea peeps that Zara just likes to annoy people. And honestly, all the hate is directed to her alone, even though it was the three of them. They're talking shit about her, and Zara is eavesdropping. And in her interview, she's like, she just wants people to like her. Trust me, I can see the loneliness very clearly, but she doesn't do much to fix it. She does this stupid shit. And then she's like, oh my god, why are they mad at me? She's the antagonizer, but then wants to be the victim. It's so annoying. Amy, Joanne, and Andrea are talking about Zara in the car, and Amy actually says that Zara was the one who told Ripsy to go upstairs to get Jodie. I did not remember this, but we find out the truth later on. Don't worry. Amy tells them everything that happened, and Andrea seems to be more against Sarah than with Sarah. At home, they're getting ready for a party, a costume party specifically, and Carrie for some reason is shady towards Andrea's costume, even though this is her costume. At the party, Steve and Deanne are hanging out, and then Amy and Tomic are making out. I'm so sorry. You have a boyfriend, Amy. According to you? He thinks you're spiteful. What's going on, girl? I think I completely missed this in my reaction video because I watched one episode like every other week, so I forgot many things. Zara's confessional about her being alone and no one wanting to hang out with her plays, but like every time you guys go out, you're the one trying to make friends with random ass people as opposed to hanging out with your roommates. So what are you upset about? Go hang out with new people like you do every single night. Literally from the start, that's the reason why she hung out with Tomek so much, because she found her roommates boring. In the limo back home, there's beef. Zara wants to use the phone, but Andrea has it because she's waiting for a phone call from a guy, so she doesn't want to give her the phone. Zara, someone who doesn't really get told no a lot, is very confused, like, what do you, just give me the phone? And Andrew's like, no, you're not getting this phone. Everyone starts laughing. I don't know about the situation. I feel like everyone's drunk, so this isn't that funny, but they're cackling and they're making it seem like they're just cackling in Zara's face, like you're getting punked by the new girl, like that's embarrassing. They're kind of playing it like that, the fact that like no one around her likes her. But yeah, I don't think they're laughing that hard at this, but regardless, no one sticks up for Zara and she feels very alone. Once they get home, Zara takes a shot, locks herself in the bathroom, and is sobbing. She leaves the bathroom, they see her crying, Deanne follows her outside, Jody follows behind her, and Deanne sees marks on her wrist, and the shit just got really dark. But again, to be continued. The episode starts where the last one ended, and Zara is saying that she needs to go home. And I agree, you need to go home and figure out whatever's going on because this is not okay. The other girls are not sympathetic towards this at all. Amy says that she just needs attention. Andrea says the same thing. Zara's always trying to get attention, but this time the crying didn't work and no one cared, so she went to the extreme. Amy then says, if she really wants to know how to do it, I can teach her how to do it, because I can't really go too much into detail, but I'll just say it was very surface level, even though considering doing that is already, that's something that needs to be addressed, even if it's not what it could be. I really hope I'm making sense. Any type of that should be looked into, regardless of how surface level you think that it is. But Jody and Deanne are talking to her about being strong and not letting anybody run her out of this house, and I feel like there's no correlation. She feels alone because of everyone, including you guys, so no one's really running her out of the house. She just feels alone. Nothing comes from it. The next day, we're on some Steve and Deanne shit.
Sorry. I was paying attention to you.
They're like in the car talking about their lives. We find out that Steve's adopted and he has like trust issues with women. We also find out that Deanne was engaged also, and she called it off 2 weeks before the wedding. So they decide to plan a date so that they can get to know each other a little bit better. Meanwhile, Jody at home checks up on Zara the next morning, and Zara just says that she's fine. She's good. Like, okay, that was fucking a lot. Carrie and Joanne are looking at pictures from the costume party, and they come across one of Amy and Tomek mid-hookup, and it's so gross. Meanwhile, we get a justification from Amy saying that the difference between her and Zara is that Amy did it while she was drunk, whereas Zara hooked up with him sober. But you know what the similarity is that you both had boyfriends when you did it. Carrie and Jody are talking about Carrie's music, and Carrie seems very distant and not interested in what she's talking about. Zara now gets out of bed and she's just looking at some pictures from the night before, saying that what happened the previous night will make her a stronger person. Again, that was a lot. So okay, we're moving past it. Amy tells Jody that Carrie said Jody made Bobby write her a song. She also tells her that she thought Carrie since day one was jealous of Jody.
Don't do it, Jody. Don't steal that spotlight from her. You don't want her to cry.
But she says that she's not stirring the pot. In fact, she is trying to warn somebody that the person she thinks she's besties with is actually the one talking about her behind her back. Interesting. Deanne goes on her date with Steve. Steve is just saying how he really just wants to do whatever in life, which isn't really possible with somebody who has a child. So it's not really looking like the relationship is going to go anywhere, unfortunately. Deanne is disappointed because, yeah, at first she was like, all I really care about is making out with him. But she clearly caught feelings for him. Back at home, Jody tells Carrie what Amy said and that Amy thinks that she's in competition with her, even though Amy told her not to say anything. But again, as we saw in many a times, this is what I told you to hold on to, Amy too doesn't know how to keep things to herself. So it's only right. Carrie is not trying to talk to Jody about this, but then Jody still asks her about the Bobby Tomberlin thing, and Carrie's like, if you hear something that I said, just ask me about it. But like, that's literally what she's doing right now, and you don't want to talk to her. That night, everyone goes out except for Zara. Deanne sees Steve with a bunch of girls, and he kisses one of them. So I assume that because the date didn't go too well, he just started doing his own thing again. But Deanne is really annoyed because, again, she probably caught feelings. So she decides to get this guy to make Steve jealous, but he just ends up leaving. Back at home, Zara made them apology cupcakes, and she says that what she did was a mistake, but it made her realize what she has. And they don't really specify, but I'm assuming it's just roommates that care about her, but then like not all of them really cared about what she did. So this part was kind of confusing. But at the very least, right, she's feeling better. We then see Deanne sobbing in her confessional and in the car, presumably about Steve. Okay, this part's a little bit confusing because everyone's a she, so I will do my best. Carrie tells Amy that Jody told Carrie that Amy told Jody that Carrie's in competition with Jody. Amy denies these allegations, but no, you very much did say that. You said that Carrie's always in competition with Jody and that Carrie is jealous of Jody. You said that.
I think she's just jealous of you. I felt that from day one.
Amy is pissed that Jody even said anything because she didn't think that Jody would be a troublemaker. But like, girl, you can't be messy and then be upset when someone else is also messy. And on top of that, Carrie and Jody have like their own weird friendship thing, and you inserted yourself in that. You're trying to play both sides. Meanwhile, she told Jody to be careful because Carrie thinks that she's in competition with her, like, ooh. But then Carrie's like, I never said that, never felt that way. Jody's just so concerned with what people think, and it's like, what? What really happened is that Jody thinks that you guys are super close, and she heard that you may feel some type of way about her, so she wanted to ask you, like, is this true? Because if it's true, like, you shouldn't feel that way. I don't feel that way. But now she's somehow in the wrong. Deanne gets an email from Steve being super apologetic, and he wants to meet her to talk. So her, Amy, and Carrie go to Hollywood Boulevard, and they see signs from Steve. One of them says, Deanne rules, Steve sucks, Deanne was humiliated by a schmuck. And the last sign his sister's holding, and she tells her that she doesn't meet too many of the girls that Steve is talking to. So far, only 2. And then he pulls up behind with his own little sign, and they make up, kiss, and it's so cute.
You know how she tells us stories and tells us things about Carrie that Carrie said?
I'd just like to point out that this is Amy's spot. She has been talking shit on this spot the entire season, but this time Jody's upstairs listening. Amy says that Jody tells them stories about what Carrie said, but then goes back to Carrie and tells her that Amy doesn't like her. Jody repeats what Amy says, but just makes it 10 times worse. What? Amy's like, don't pretend like you don't do the catty drama, but like, Amy, you do that. You know, Carrie's on the phone with, I don't know, her manager or whatever. Who cares? She's going to Nashville to cut her album. Jody's talking to Deanne, and Deanne in her interview is like, oh, now she wants to talk to me because she doesn't have anybody else. Amy then pulls up and is like, I heard you've been saying a bunch of stuff to other people. Jody is so confused, and honestly, same. Amy says that she never said anything bad until a couple of days ago. What are you talking about? She also refuses to explain to Jody, who is so confused because she made a promise not to say anything. Insane to me that this is the time you choose to keep your mouth shut when any other time you've been sworn to secrecy, you let everybody know. But I think in reality, it's not that she wants to keep her word. It's that she knows once she says it, Jody's going to say, well, yeah, you did say that, rather than confirm what was said. She just wants to make it known that Jody is out here being messy. Really, the only thing she can say is that, Jody, I asked you not to say anything to Carrie and you still said something. But it's also crazy that when she was talking to Carrie, she was glad that Carrie went to talk to her about this.
Well, I'm glad you asked me, even though you think that.
But when Jody does it with Carrie, it's a problem. Amy's making it seem like Jody's just talking bad about her, but like, she's not. She's just trying to clarify something that happened between her and Carrie. Jody tells Deanne that Carrie's been talking about Amy this entire time and she could easily just tell her what she's been saying, but she doesn't want to do that. So now she thinks that Carrie's trying to sabotage her and Amy's friendship. I think honestly everyone's just really confused. Deanne still doesn't care and again thinks that she's only talking to her because no one else wants to hear it because they all caught on to her. What did she do? In Nashville, Carrie does her whole studio thing and she's nervous because her album isn't ready. So I'm just confused because you want to revitalize this career and you know this is your last chance to do it. So you show up to this meeting unprepared. She ends up bringing her rough cut to the meeting and they seem interested, but as we saw last time, they also were on some, yeah, we'll talk at George Clooney's dinner, and it never happened. Back at home, Jody's talking to Joanna because Joanna's the only person who refuses to gaslight Jody with the rest of them, and she wants to be a friend to Jody. So I guess Deanne, she does have somebody else to talk to. Maybe she just thought you guys were cool or something. I don't know. Deanne and Andrea pick up Carrie from the airport, and Deanne tells her what's been going on. Yeah, she tells it correctly though. She doesn't switch it up or make it worse, anything like that. And she's like, all right, I'm gonna tell her to tell Amy everything that I said. She gets home and Jody and Amy are in the kitchen talking, and Jody's like annoyed because she actually wants a friendship with Amy, so she's bothered at the fact that there's something ruining it. She tells Amy that the only thing that could have been said was about the Bobby Tomerlin thing, but she makes it seem like to Carrie all she said was, well, Amy feels the same way, but in reality, she told her that Amy told me this.
I said, even Amy sees it this way.
And then Amy's like, no, you actually told her all the bad things that I said about her. And Jody kind of brushes past that and is like, well, they should all be accountable for the things that they've said. And then she's like, what? Like, are they scared? And then Carrie hears this and is like, we can hear you. Like, if you want to talk, like, we can talk.
Well, come on and bring it.
And they both think that the other is twisting their words. Jody says that she never told Carrie that Amy didn't like her. And then they deny ever even having tension. And they're trying to put it on Jody that the only reason there was tension was because of her. What are they talking about? This isn't even the first time they've heard that Amy is talking bad about Carrie. Zara brought it up in an earlier episode. Jody is not the one trying to cause tension between Carrie and Amy. If anything, it's Zara, because what she said wasn't true. In fact, what Amy said wasn't true. So is Amy trying to come in between Carrie and Jody's friendship? And we saw Amy talk bad about Carrie. She said that from day one, she thought that Carrie was jealous of Jody. It's like day 110 at this point. The conversation goes literally nowhere because they refuse to explain what Jody is doing. They're just like, well, you know what you're doing. And she's like, no, literally tell me. And they're like, no, you know. So she's confused. I'm confused. You're confused. They all go out except for Joanne and Jody. And she says, I swear, like, Carrie and Amy didn't like each other. And I would agree. Amy trashed her clothes. Carrie was pissed that she did that, even though she didn't even do anything. Even Joanna confirms this in her interview. Like, she could sense the tension. There's tension there. But at home, Jody decides to leave. And she doesn't give a damn that they're about to go home. She just wants to go. She can't even stay, like a few more days. She just wants to leave. She's done with it, and honestly, good for her. She's so desperate to leave that she puts all of her shit in like garbage bags and just leaves while only Joanna's there. And I feel bad because it seems like Joanna and Jody had like a genuine friendship, and Joanna's like crying about it. It's so sad. And in her interview, Jody's like, the other roommates tried to break me, but they didn't. And I'm proud of her. The girls get home and they see that Jody is gone. Zara's annoying ass wakes up Joanne and is like, where is she? And Joanne's like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was sleeping.
You don't know where she went?
She doesn't want to tell them because Jody asked her not to. So she just kept it to herself, even though either way she's gone. Like, they know she's gone. I'm not really sure what she is keeping a secret. I guess just that she knew that she was leaving. Even that, she didn't really know. She kind of just, it was a spur of the moment thing, but whatever. Amy is upset that Jody left without saying goodbye to her. You should have treated her better if you wanted that to happen and not put all the blame on her like she's causing all this drama when you're the one talking the most about literally everyone. Carrie's like, we could have talked about this like a family. Dan kind of says the same thing, but like, honestly, I don't care. You guys were all so annoying to her. Final days in the house. Deanne comes up with a plan to be more charitable. She calls an organization named Hope's Nest to raise some money, and they agreed to try to raise $5,000. This organization focuses on troubled teens. They have a house meeting to discuss these plans. Amy's the only one mad about it because she didn't agree to do this. And really only Deanne and Carrie actually care about this. They go to the school to meet with these troubled teens, and to be honest, these girls have nothing to offer them. I'm mad that they're even like telling them their life story. I hate it. They meet up with a bar owner, supposedly Carrie's friends, and he's just like, yeah, you guys can do whatever you want. I don't really care. So they have a venue for their charity event. They hand out some flyers literally all night. And then once they get home, the owner calls Deanne and is like, hey, so we might actually have to reschedule, but everything that they handed out that day was for a Thursday. And now they might have to do a Sunday. So things are not going super well. In the coming up, we get comic content. It sucks ass. I hate it.
Coming up on the Bad Girls Club.
I'm not going anywhere, dude. Chill the out. Don't talk to me.
He's beefing with Zara and just being annoying. Literally, what else is new? Amy calls one of her band friends, so now they have a new band because they had to reschedule everything. Outside, Amy and Zara are talking about their experience here, and they kind of just put their beef aside and decide to make up and be friends.
But I don't know if you blame me, but I will miss you.
Took all damn season. It is the last day in the house, and they packed, but that night is the charity event, so they are kind of running around. They get there and the bar is empty, but like, girl, it's early, so you gotta wait for it. And it starts to get poppin' a few hours later. Ugh, Tomic shows up, it's his posse, and they just make fun of Zara.
Real professional, once you get fries, run your charity event. That's how people run a door, right?
Come up with something new. Inside, Amy's friend Trey Scott is raising the roof. I don't know who this is. If you know who this is, let me know. Zara's in the bathroom throwing up, and they count out the money that they made, and they made well over $5,000, so yay. They give it to Chermancy, the charity organizer who's there. It was cute. It just felt like a little rushed. In the limo ride home, Zara's passed out, and Joanna drops a bomb. She's like, I caught her in the bathroom hooking up with somebody. Like, I'm sorry. And they really don't go into detail besides these gestures that I cannot even show. And then Amy says this.
We should have auctioned off a job by Zara.
So, full circle moment. That morning, the girls moved out, but they will always be a part of the Bad Girls Club. They do those closing credits for each girl, and it's a very Little Rascals of them. But it ends on the Bad Girls Club road trip, so, I mean, maybe we'll look into it, maybe not. It's a couple of days since move out day, and we see the actual goodbyes this time. Everyone's crying. It's so emotional. I don't know why they didn't include that in the final episode. But now a few of them were asked back to see what we saw at home. Ripsy gets called back, and she has some new hair. She's very nervous because she fought on national TV. We meet Dr. Katz, a clinical psychologist who's going to be hosting this little reunion. He meets with Ripsy first, and he shows her the footage of the crazy night. Ripsy is so beyond uncomfortable, and again, I get it. I cannot look at my stories the next day. She asked him to stop playing the footage, and literally he does so for like a minute and is like, why don't we just play that yet again? And it keeps going, and she's just not having a great time. Ripsy says that she's been thinking about this for 2 months, which again is weird because you left after 4 days, maybe 3 days. This is a 4-month experience, so there's 2 other months that you weren't thinking about it. Like, what? They try to get to the bottom of what actually happened with Ripsy, and Ripsy just says that she was really unhappy in the house because they were picking on her. He asked her about Carrie, and she says that she thinks that what triggered all this was something that she said in the very beginning, and it was when Carrie was like, I'm a control freak and manipulative. And honestly, if that's true, like, that's a crazy response, Ripsy. They want to bring Carrie out, but she's not here yet, so Ripsy goes outside with Zara and is talking to her and is like, even if I apologize, she's not going to forgive me. So in the meantime, they bring out Amy, who, you guessed it, is not happy. She is cranky because she is tired. He shows her the fight between her and Ty, and she also looks really uncomfortable. He asks her what she thinks of it. She says she was just defending herself. She has any feelings towards it? She's like, no. He tries to dig a little deeper, and she's like, well, I'm embarrassed because she spit on me. She doesn't even want to talk about this, and she very much does not want to meet with her. He asks her why she even came to this house, and she says because she wanted to work on her temper. And she also says that she doesn't get upset over stupid things. And then they play a montage of her getting upset, including bleaching people's clothes over a fake rat. So the doctor knows that she's not interested, so bye. I do think, though, they should have played a different clip if they wanted her to admit that she, in fact, did have a temper, and not a clip of her being antagonized and fighting back. That was just a bad clip to show her. Next, they bring out Ty, and they show her the same clip, and she is giggling throughout it. She is not embarrassed nor ashamed of it because, again, she feels like she got disrespected. The doctor says something that I, too, said, and that is that not everyone is going to respect you. But then they bring out Leslie to ask her about how she feels about her leaving. And then he asked Leslie why she thinks that Ty self-sabotaged. Ty hates this word and feels some type of way. She thinks that it's like super negative and also stupid, but he tries to explain what he means by it. And then she also finds this offensive because she's like, oh yeah, explain it to me because I clearly don't understand shit, right? But I think he was just trying to explain to her to show he doesn't mean it for her to take it the wrong way, but if the goal is to stay and work on yourself and you do the one thing that you know you're not supposed to do that will send you home, that is a form of self-sabotage, but she doesn't care and she doesn't like it. She doesn't like the negativity that comes with the word self-sabotage, but she doesn't seem to mind the negativity that comes with fighting someone over not wanting to carry a raft. We get a card that says Jody refused to participate, but she had something to say. They play clown music over her saying that she cared about the girls.
I really didn't get the chance to fully express who I am.
They're so fucking petty. Next clip they show now has Zara in it for some reason, and Leslie's crying over Ty, but then he asks her, well, you also left, and she isn't too opinionated on it. She just chalks it up to a life decision she made, and not all of them are gonna be the correct one, but she's fine with either. Next person is Carrie, and they show her the footage of the fight, and again, also very uncomfortable for her. She's super emotional and she feels like nobody was there helping her, but once again, a lot of them were trying to help you. She doesn't think that Ripsy's apology was genuine. She thinks it's just more self-serving because she is more embarrassed about what she did. Ripsy comes in, sits down next to her, and she does take 100% of the responsibility, but then she tries to say that she thinks it's just because Carrie laughed at her. And so Carrie's like, girl, everyone was laughing at you, so why did you single me out specifically? Then Ripsy says, well, she doesn't know because she never blacks out. And then Carrie's like, well, no, you said that you do. You said this is normal. And then the show also plays the clip of her calling herself the blackout queen. So then she switches it to, well, I'm not a violent person, so even if everything else did happen, me fighting someone for no reason has never happened. Carrie, although she doesn't really believe her, she still chooses to accept her apology, so I guess that's cute. They hug it out, and then the show ends with them giving different definitions of what a bad girl is.
People with strong personalities, people who are completely insane. They do most things that the average female won't do.
This term has many different definitions throughout this entire show. So this is a never before seen extra type of footage episode that I skipped on my first rewatch because I thought it was boring. I've seen America's Next Top Model ones. They're not funny. They're not entertaining. Figured this would be kind of like that. And I was right. It was so fucking boring. So I'm just going to go over probably the one thing we really learned from this episode. We get more beef between Ripsy and Carrie's nose.
Your nose was so big!
But we got something even more important, and that is confirmation that Zara, in fact, did tell Ripsy to go upstairs and get Jody. She said to leave Carrie alone and go upstairs to get Jody.
Go get Jody in her room.
Okay.
She sent her up there. This whole confused, naive shit that she's been doing this entire season has been fake from the start. So I'm telling you guys, she is manipulative. She tries to play stupid, but she knows what she's doing. But yeah, Jody can blame that scar under her eye on Ripsy and Zara. I guess one more other thing was that the girls were complaining about confessionals, and I feel like because of that, they made confessionals a little bit more mandatory in the later seasons. Oh, and then one last thing is that from literally move-in day, like Ripsy's still there. They had maggots, flies, bugs everywhere. So this whole trying to make them seem like they're fucking disgusting and dirty is such bullshit. It makes me so mad. And then at the end, the girls leave and continue on their road trip, which again, maybe we'll watch. Probably not though. They're not fun.
Hey, it's Bad Girls Club. Leave a message.
Okay, as always, I like to rank all the girls, and I'm actually going to be doing a more cumulative ranking for this season. So at the end of every single season, I'm just going to be adding that season's ranking to the master list. And then we'll find out who's the baddest, in my humble opinion at least. Okay, as always, bottom up.
You know I need guys' attention.
She was so annoying. I was not a fan. I couldn't stand the baby voice she kept making, how dumb she acted, how naive she acted, how ignorant she was, how immature she was. Part of me feels bad because she clearly was going through something. I just feel like so many of her actions were so selfish. All she cared about was herself. I don't really care that you feel like no one in the house likes you. It's because you act like that and you do shit to get everyone mad and annoy them on purpose. And then you're confused when they're annoyed and don't want to talk to you.
What's your schizophrenia?
She was introduced really late, obviously, and I feel like towards the end, she was just really faded into the background. There's not really much I can say about her. She did have that little thing with Sarah, but that was pretty much it. Not much to say about her, but I didn't hate her. Again, it's only because we really didn't get to know her that much.
Am I a dog?
The only reason she's above Andrea is because she was a bigger part of the show, but I could not stand her either. She was negative, she was mean, and she was hypocritical. She just reminded me of those family members that all they ever do is just talk bad about you. And then she has the nerve to be like, yeah, I was on a show with fake people. Like, I'm the most real. How? How if you're talking about literally everyone? How? She can literally tell everyone everyone's business because she's just looking out for them, or they pissed her off, or whatever reason she comes up with on the spot. But anyone else does that to her and it's like, I cannot believe you would start some shit. What? But also, Zara is disgusting for trying to get with Tomic, but it's okay with you, right? Because you were just drunk. That's the only reason you did it, even though you were cozying up to him the entire season while you have a boyfriend, by the way. But no, it's different because you were drunk. Also, the amount of time she talked about like fighting, stabbing somebody, doing this, doing that, and that's what you deliver? Like, that's so embarrassing. Stop.
You're posing with your legs spread right open above Mary.
I found her immature and annoying, but the difference between her and Zara is that Dan's really the only person suffering for all of this. Like, she got a tattoo drunk. It was annoying as fuck, but she's the one with the tattoo. You know what I mean? She's being gross with Steve making out with him, but again, she's the only one making out with him. She doesn't drag other people down with her. I wasn't really invested in her storylines. I don't care about her and Steve, actually. So since most of her storylines was that, I was good.
If you're rich, I'm your bitch.
I think if she was there longer, she probably would have been at the top because I really liked her personality. I thought she was so cute, fun, and like surprisingly level-headed. I know she says that she's this crazy person and a gold digger, but when it came to situations in the house, she really just took a step back and was like, you guys do not see what's going on. Like, what the f? I appreciated her for being such a good friend to Jody and being there when literally nobody else was.
She was calling me 30-year-ass old.
I didn't really understand Carrie, I'm not gonna lie. She ruined her friendship with Jody over something that Amy said because she thought Jody was trying to get in between her and Amy's friendship. What friendship? Even though Zara was actually the one trying to do it. And that was super cool with Zara. The only thing that saved her, honestly, was the fact that she was more calm throughout. She didn't really try to start the drama. She may have been shady like here and there, but overall she was more calm. I don't think she was conniving or manipulative with the roommates, but probably just with like boyfriends.
You know what? Nobody else can tell, because I can tell.
She's probably the reason why this show is what it is, because if it wasn't for her big blowout, I don't think it would have gotten the attention that it got. I can't really put her up too high because she was really fucked up that first night. I do think that she was lying about what was going on in her head that night. I think she was just trying to find any justification for what she did, but the reality is that she just has a drinking problem and maybe she just didn't want to accept it. She was really apologetic to Carrie, which was nice. She was really focused on her forgiveness. In the Never Before Seen Clips episode, she was so chill. So I put her higher because I would rather see a chill, calm Ripsy than a chill, calm Carrie.
Feel like she just got done getting
It's a little bit complicated because I do not like the way she handled the situation with Amy, but I feel like most of her other moments weren't bad. She was actually like really nice. She let that shit go with Zara, even though she was the one affected by it. She was able to talk it out with Leslie. You know, she had her own shit going on. I don't know why the thing with Amy became that. I think she has the capability of letting shit go because, again, you don't think that what Zara did was disrespectful because you give her like all this benefit of the doubt because like she's so dumb or whatever. But then with Amy, you feel disrespected because she was annoyed that you woke her up. And also the fact that her not wanting to carry the raft is what started the fight. And on top of that, you started it by spitting on her and then getting upset that she didn't sit there and take the spit. Girl, absolutely not. But honestly, I feel like a lot of her good moments were better than the other girls' good moments. I would rather watch cool, calm Ty than Deanne or Carrie.
I'm single, so...
I appreciated her maturity this season. The Christianity thing was hypocritical, I will not lie, but religion is just so personal that I think everyone is just trying to find their path and they should be allowed to. As nonsensical as it is at times, I think it's kind of on them to figure it out. They were clearly upset that she left because of how shady they were after the exit. And also she just refused to do anything relating to Bad Girls Club. Like she was very much over it. And I appreciated her for showing people that your peace is more important than some arbitrary rule of making it till the end. Her leaving with just a few days left, truly iconic. I love that. And overall, she really didn't start anything. She seemed more laid back. I really liked her.
We trying to do something different. We came in for a purpose.
Seeing her alone after Ty left was so sad. I hate that no one was supporting her. Again, if she said that when she was leaving, I would have been like, yeah, you're so fucking right. But I really just didn't agree with what she said when she left. That is all. She checked on Amy, she checked Ty, and she was overall just trying to be a good friend, which I feel like was never reciprocated. I wish that they did show more of her happy moments because I feel like they gave her a little bit more of a gloomy edit, but in the Never Before Seen episode, she was having a ball. So again, fucking shady. I hate them. She also did try her hardest to better her life and get out of that nightlife life. The fuck? Wrestling. I think she was a really good person who put a lot of effort into being a good person, which I can always appreciate. Here is the current ranking. As we watch more seasons, I'm going to be adding the new girls on each season to this list. So, did we find out what makes a bad girl bad? Yes, a terrible environment drowned in alcohol that also feels like jail. Did they change given the opportunity? I mean, if this is the opportunity, they did the best that they could. And in the second to last episode, they were beefing, so not really. But the first time I watched this, I really couldn't believe like this was the first season to a show I've been watching since I was what, like 10? And just compare this to a season 11, like the difference. Yeah, this gave me more real world vibes, more boring and also annoying. And I think that's attributed to the fact that most of the storylines were revolving around Zara and Amy, who both of them I really didn't like. The rest was just filler. But they do have a shorter runtime, and I think they just wanted to like cover every single base. They're professionals. You can organize it a little bit better. As far as my rewatch, I was dreading it so much. I really don't think I liked it too much when I first watched it. I think it could be background noise at the very least. Every single ranking I've done so far, it's been at the bottom. The only season on our list at the moment. It's in its own little place. We'll see. We'll see if it stays at the bottom. Okay, I feel like this is much more conclusive. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is the end. And we have finished 1 out of the 17 chapters in this book. And after that, we're not going to reopen it for a really long time. I was able to get all of my thoughts out and really just talk about everything. The only thing with this season is I really couldn't find much like extra drama, extra whatever, because it was so long ago. Like they all had MySpace as we saw, and I can't even get my own pictures on my account on MySpace because they just deleted everything. So it's really hard to find anything about these girls with regards to this specifically. If you know any juicy details, please feel free to leave it down below. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you for season 2. Bye.
Blue dreams, I'm with the stars when I face blind. She a nightmare, but it'd be hard for me to wake up. Let me no choice to cut her off and get my cake up. Fuck a whole comments and my soul is all I'm saving.